This is a HeadGum podcast.
This week on the program, 2 hours and 49 minutes. It's Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End. I'm Andrew Jupin.
Multiple Steven Sadaks.
Eric Siska.
And Chris Cabin.
Oh, wait, we're not doing the piratey name thing anymore?
You could do a pirate name. Do a pirate name. If you want to do a pirate name, do a pirate name.
I'm Barnacle Ben.
And we hate movies. Hello, everyone. Welcome to We Hate Movies. Thank you for tuning in. As always, this is week 3 of Pirate Mania, and we are very happy to be joined by our good buddy, Ben Worcester. He is channeling in remotely from the high seas. How are you, sir?
Oh, I'm doing just fine. Just fine. Good to see you all again. I've been stranded on this island here, waiting for the good ship WHM
Lollipop?
to sail by.
Oh, WHM.
WHM Pinafore is what they call that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nobody can see this right now, unfortunately, because we are not live streaming this episode. But Ben Worcester is presenting here on this live stream with the best Will Turner facial hair.
It's true.
This mustache and goatee combo, buddy. I'm loving it.
You know, I wanted to come decked out for this episode. And fortunately, when I'm quarantined and the beard goes wild, it comes in exactly like this. So
I
That's
can't
excellent.
see. Well, the camera's cutting this off, but I have crabs. So
Oh,
nice.
sure.
Oh,
okay.
oh, no.
Did
Stone crabs?
They're just hanging. So you're saying so Steven Sadak is recording this without pants on right now,
Yep.
and there's some crabs just eviscerating his pubic region.
Yeah. Just clipping around.
NSFW, man. NSFZ, to be honest. Not safe for Zoom. So yeah, this is Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End from 2007, directed by Gore Verbinski. This is the last one that he is affiliated with. Or do they throw him in as like an executive producer on those last two, Cabin?
I think so. I think he gets a producing credit until like the end of time with these.
Yeah, like you just get grandfathered in with that shit. This is the one we've been telling the story for a while now, but me, Chris, and Steve went and saw this movie at the Regal Union Square.
Oh,
One of the well, it used to be one of the worst theaters in the city.
I was going to say
Yeah.
it's at World's End, basically.
yeah.
I'm a
Like
fan
the-
of that
the
theater. I've
worst
always,
crabs.
always been a fan of that theater. I don't know. It's kind of a junk heap, but I like it.
Yeah. You know what it is, dude? And this is me, totally old man yells at cloud. I understand. You are like right near like the New School and NYU. Like it's
Sure.
right there. Is you got to fucking put up with that shit. Anyway, this is where I fell asleep. It was the only one Steve saw in theaters. Chris, I think you made it through the entire thing.
I did, and I remember nothing, but man, coming back to it, it all like, oh my God, what a waste of time.
I watched this last night, and I remember nothing.
Yeah.
Is that good?
It forces you to like erase your memory as you're watching it.
Ben, what is
Yeah.
your Pirates experience specifically with this movie? Although I do want to say, just because you said you went to sleep, I read some IMDb trivia that Keira Knightley herself at the premiere fell asleep and has never seen this entire movie due to exhaustion, she says in air quotes. She's like, I love these movies, but I was just so exhausted I fell asleep, and I never watch my movies after the fact, yada, yada, yada. I've never seen this one.
You know, and that's a bummer for her because to say, inspired by Eric's nice comment about Dead Man's Chest last week, I'll say this week a nice thing about this movie. I think it's really great that they gave her so much more to do in this movie.
Sure.
And I think that she executes it really nicely. I think she's good in this movie.
But I think there's a lot. Like, she definitely hasn't seen Nut Tosser in the Four Realms.
Nut tosser.
Wait a second.
It is.
He's a nut tosser.
Wait, so she's in
Nutcracker. Sorry.
Yeah, that was a flub. Sure. So I didn't even know she was in Nutcrackers.
Yeah, she's
Yeah,
like a
she's-
princess or something.
Yeah, it's her and Morgan Freeman and somebody else.
So she's a princess in that, and in this movie, she becomes a pirate king.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yes.
She's
How
about
royalty,
that?
dude.
But sorry, we cut off Ben. Ben, what is your pirate experience specifically, and what's this movie? You watch these in theaters? Were you a pirate head back in '07?
I did see the first one, and I have a memory of it being good. Like now, to be fair, I have not watched or like kept up. I'm going into this blind in the sense that like thinking my experience with the first one and the second one, I'd be fine to just like pick up, but that is not the case. I had struggled to keep up with this movie from the get go. But I did see the first two, and I do remember the first one like being kind of like, it was sharp in a sense. Like Jack Sparrow has a pretty memorable opening. The way he comes in, isn't he on like a ship that's
Yeah, it's like
sinking?
and
And then he steps right onto the dock. Like,
Yep.
I remember that, and I saw that back in like 2003. I will probably go back and because the curiosity is peaked now, but never saw. I think the second one kind of broke me a little bit because it was like it just dragged on. I remember liking the first one. It's like we have already reached the world's end with this second one because it just fell off a cliff.
Yeah, absolutely. I can say just from our conversation last week, you're not missing anything. But the introduction to the squid people and the barnacle pirates and all of those fucking monstrosities.
I really thought that shit was kind of contained to the last movie, but it's all over this. It's all over it.
Nope.
We were talking about this last week, I think, and it would have just been better if these movies we had no story continuation and they were like James Bond type things.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah, and the last one we're fighting the squid people, and this one we're fighting Calypso or whatever, or maybe we're fighting the British government and all sorts of stuff, or we're just fucking looking for treasure for Christ's sake.
Right? Like,
Is that possible?
there's no pirating that goes on. Like rob another ship.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah,
isn't
exactly.
that what pirating
there's
is?
so much like there's so much like talk about like all these pirates are fucking being what do you call it? They're persecuted, yada yada yada, but they don't fucking pirate anything.
Well, what's more interesting than that is Pirate Congress.
Dude,
Now that is what you want to see. That's what you want to go
If
to.
the prequels-
Pirate Congress.
If the prequels taught us anything, it's that people love congressional hearings of Gleep Glops and Monstars.
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
Like we need to dig into the politics of this pirate world, man.
Well, before we do that, I said on the first episode of this Pirates series that send me some slash fiction, and someone sent me Davy Jones / Will Turner.
Oh,
And I thought maybe we'd give it a read, and if you guys can abort it at any moment. And this is graphic. If you have children in the automobile, let them out before you drive off the cliff.
Eric,
totally.
what is slash fiction? Is that does that involve like sword fights? Is that what's going on here?
Yes. It's a meat sword against meat sword.
Oh,
You understand?
I see.
Actually, I think technically, dude, in this story you're about to read, it's meat sword versus fucking dude's tentacle face.
Oh boy.
Yes. Now
Thing.
this is called The Depths. Okay. So I'm going to start reading now. Relax. Enjoy. When Will did, and I'm just jumping around, like I'm jumping into it because you don't need the romance.
I'm just gonna
Can
head
I
out for
say-
a smoke. Is that cool?
Can I say really quickly before you get started, dude?
Please,
So
please.
I saw the message come in over the transom here when this person sent us the link to this story.
Yeah.
And out of morbid curiosity and just everyday old perversion, I decided to click on the link and check out the story. And this thing, I gotta tell you, it is the problem with all slash fiction, as well as all articles where you're looking for a recipe for food. they give you this huge fucking Bible-length story before you get to what you want. And like with slash fiction, it's like, I don't need the 12 pages of them seducing each other. Just get down to the sucking and the fucking.
Well, now I'm thinking about like just those recipe things. Like it's always hard to feed my guys and all the stuff that goes on. We got so many picky eaters here. Anyway, Jim Kirk is sucking off Spock, and
wait a second. So you're telling me in this story, someone's going to blow the man down?
And with that, Eric.
Hardy har, here we go. Okay, so obviously I'm getting right into it. So the first sentence will make sense.
Sure.
When Will didn't harden, one slimy tentacle probed at his opening before snaking into his body.
Oh,
Snaking!
So it's like a tentacle's going into a penis right now.
Yes,
I think.
yeah, I'm getting it. I'm somewhat understanding that.
Will's eyes snapped open as he thrashed in his bonds. His breath came in harsh gasps as the appendage stilled, curling as it pressed against him, sucking gently. So like, like the tendrils and the tentacles are like sucking his thing.
The cups are sucking.
From like inside out too, maybe? I don't know.
Okay. I'd be paranoid that this guy's going to fucking rip it off, man. Not for nothing.
Yeah.
Will Turner, I can suck you all night long.
Well, Turner, you get access to tentacle number 23.
You'll have clean paws for the rest of your life.
Will's back arched as he gave a sharp, desperate cry, his struggles growing fiercer as his cock began to stir.
Uh-oh.
There he goes, finally. I mean,
That's a good...
Ben, just how long do you think you'd have to get sucked by a fish man before you started to stir, you think?
That is a good question. This is a fish man?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I guess that doesn't make that much of a difference, fish man, fish lady.
Well, are we underwater? Am I...
You're definitely underwater. You're definitely underwater.
Yeah. Fish man underwater. I give it.
In this scenario, you can also breathe underwater.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, that makes a big difference.
Yeah, that's a big one, right?
I knew that would be a real curveball.
Because if I can't, I'd probably pass out before I get to the moment of.
But that might be like that might enhance the experience, like autoerotic asphyxiation.
Oh, for sure.
Also,
Ben, this is not like a cod or a monkfish. This is a squid tendril.
Okay.
Fish man. I know that covers a lot.
Does.
Octopus's garden's coming for your dick.
Yeah, that's more of what we're
well,
talking
then,
about
I
here.
mean, probably 2 minutes or under, because you got all those arms. Like, you're compounding the work. It's like exponential. So,
personally, I wouldn't last more than 5 seconds.
Can someone get me the Master and Commander theme put under this whole thing while Eric has been reading this lovely story?
Now, Chris, this is the best part here.
Okay.
The tentacles.
Oh, good. The best part.
Yeah, and then we can move on. Everyone wants to hear about the fun movie.
For sure.
I'm sure.
The tentacles left Will's cock, curling up to Jones's.
Oh, of course.
Will closed his eyes so he didn't have to watch, afraid if he did, he would puke and drown in it.
Oh, my God.
Time passed. He wasn't sure how long enough that he expected the tentacles still stretching him. Anyway, no, I'm going to stop. This is abhorrent. Well, I don't know why we read it, but thank you, listener, for sending it in. And we don't condone anything that happens on our own podcast.
No, I also don't know why we read it, but my wife had a bit of was on the Live Journal in the aughts and was around the slash fiction community. Did you know that this movie has a place in the slash fiction community in their darkest day, which is something called I'm adding the great, Strike Through and Bold Through, which is a day that will live in infamy in those communities wherein
thank you for specifying that this will be a day that lives in infamy in that community.
For a specific dead
it was a
blog
day
format site.
I feel dumber for having heard about this.
It was in late May, right around when this movie came out.
7 days in May.
they suspended a ton of accounts for posting incest involved fan fiction, rape involved fan fiction, underage fan fiction, and everyone got all up in arms like, hey dude, this is just fan fiction, we're having a good time here. And like there was like a call to arms among the community that was this song that is sung in the beginning of this Pirates movie. So that's what people were doing, where they're like, we are like these pirates being led to the gallows because I can't have the two supernatural brothers fucking and sucking each other.
That's the dumbest and saddest thing that I've ever heard.
Yeah,
and that is a top line understanding of it. I'm sure there's more deep.
You could go anywhere to post that type of stuff, right? I mean, it doesn't have to be specific to Live Journal.
And
this smut's not fit for Live Journal.
Wait,
Exactly.
how are they all singing a song? Like, were they all?
Well, they would post like the lyrics.
Okay.
Yeah, like or like even like images of the song and so
like
on.
the song
unison.
is what they're currently listening to when they blog.
Yes, my brothers. So that's that, but I don't know much more than that, so I'm not gonna get into it. And maybe there was good peoples on all sides. I'm sure there were.
Exactly. And maybe the person that wrote The Depths is normal. And sure.
The person who wrote The Depths is a kindergarten teacher.
So we start with, and maybe my European history is spotty, guys. I'm not, I don't know everything about it.
Weird.
Was there a great pirate genocide that I missed? Like the way we treat this so seriously and so solemnly, I'm like, what the fuck movie am I watching?
Dude, this was insane. It was, again, just like you said, I thought I turned on the wrong fucking file. I was like, what is this fucking Holocaust documentary on Disney Plus?
I thought it was all black and white and the little kid had a red coat on. Like, it really is that intense.
There's a little kid that is led to the gallows in this sequence with other pirates, and I guess this kid's a pirate, and it just reminded me of Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
Yes,
does this exact same thing.
Yeah.
But in this one, he gets it. He doesn't get saved by anybody,
which is cool.
I do like they're like, oh well, here's a barrel. He's too short for the noose, and like, well, here's a barrel for you, young master. That'll help you out.
I gotta hand it to Disney. First 2 minutes, and you have like 100 deaths plus a kid gets it. Like,
yeah.
Hey,
I mean. That's a good point, because you see the Disney castle at the start of this movie, like, oh, look at that beautiful inequality it represents, and then you pan down and you just have all this murder.
It's bonkers, man. And it's like everything is gray and drab and like I'm not having a fun time at the movies, everybody.
It's not been the
piles of bodies.
It's not been the stakes of these movies up to this point. It's been like, adventure-y stuff, and like, that guy, the bad Beckett, is always like wagging his finger at pirates, but it wasn't like, I will execute every last fucking pirate I find.
I know. He's really amped it up since the last movie. And let me say, because he has his fucking finale in this movie, this Lord Beckett is the single worst movie villain I can remember in a really long time.
I don't know what his motivations are aside from like sort of money and power, but like it's so vague. He has like almost no scenes in this movie or the last one.
This is the Amadeus guy, right?
Yeah, it's the guy that looks like Tom Hools, exactly. And he, like, I think the idea is like he represents the East India Trading Company, and his whole thing is like, if I can eliminate all the pirates, I don't have to worry about my trade routes being, pilfered and whatnot.
Yeah. Total dominion over the sea. That's what he want. That's what they want, is complete dominion over the sea. And how do you do that? You have control over all the pirates, I guess.
Well, I mean, it's like if you kill a pirate, there's going to be another pirate. Like, it's not a person. It's not a race of people. It's a profession.
And they're pirates, dude. They're the fucking terrorists of the high seas.
It's a lifestyle,
now, and I'm sure they're very great people.
Yeah, but he wants to be able to pick the pirates he has to go up against.
But I also don't know what like constitutes a pirate. Like, how could there be this many pirates in the beginning and then that many pirates at the end? After
some of these might not be strictly pirates, because they're reading out this like this new bill or whatever law that's like all laws are suspended. Like you have no right to gather. You have no right to protest.
That's
There's
what
a
I
few
was
others.
The rights to assembly, habeas corpus, counsel, and jury are all suspended, which is America 2021. Like we're getting ready for it.
That's right. It is. And I will eat my neighbors.
I will eat Davy Jones's ass.
Two things. I will post slash fiction about incest, and I will eat my neighbors. You cannot stop me from doing none of it.
Hillary Clinton wants to stop you from posting stuff about Bart Simpson getting it on.
I will admit it. I'll eat Lord Beckett's ass. I would take a fork and knife to it, and I would eat his asshole completely.
You want to hang me? You want to hang me? All right, well, just put the noose around my neck and just tug a little bit. Oh, that's it. Yeah. All right.
That did it.
Oh, that's I'm good.
So this kid starts singing this song, and it's really beautiful and haunting.
Free the internet perverts.
And this guy
The Disney
goes,
classic.
he runs into Beckett's office like, they've started singing, sir. And he's like,
no.
Finally. And I'm like, finally what? Finally what? So then we go to Jabba's palace, which is actually, this is so the beginning of Return of the Jedi, isn't it?
Pretty much, dude.
bit.
We're sneaking into a fucking stronghold to break out our friend.
I think there's a lot of Return of the Jedi in this, including the toilet flush, which we'll get to. Like fighting over a pit like that just seems very Jedi.
Totally, yeah. And we're like definitely bouncing from like one, craft to another.
Oh, and Johnny Depp turns a cannon around to shoot it at the ship he's on. This is Princess Leia.
Yep. Oh, you're totally right. Wow. Also, this movie definitely has end of original trilogy syndrome, where like in the last hour of this movie, we are making sure that every single minor character that you've seen in these last three movies gets like their time to shine.
It's too much. We're like following over 10 characters in this. It's also why Beckett's not a person. Like, cut it down.
I mean, but it's also like avoiding finality. Like the end of it is like, no. There's gonna be more adventures, Maybe not as big as adventures about what just happened there, but adventures nonetheless. No, it can't end. It can't end.
Nothing could top this movie, right, folks? But maybe we'll be back.
Maybe we will.
Well,
maybe we will.
The balls to set up the fourth movie in this movie when you're trying to end this trilogy. I'm like, you gotta stop.
I just want to correct you on one thing, Steve. They're not setting up the fourth movie. They're showing you the first 30 minutes of the fourth movie. I mean, it is insane. Like this movie ends and there's another like 35 minutes which could strictly be dumped into Pirates of the Caribbean 4. I should not know what his exact mission is for the next movie at the end of this movie. You can have a thing where it's like, oh, here's the next naughty adventure. and then that's not the plot of the fourth movie. But the plot of the fourth movie is him finding the fucking Fountain of Youth. Don't do that. Leave that.
So I guess it didn't work, huh? I mean, we'll get there next week, I guess.
It's reversed, dude. He just fucking turns into Keith Richards.
So how confused were you at this opening, Ben, having not seen the second movie where everyone, like, we're in Singapore?
Oh, I had no idea what was going on. The whole SEAL team pirate, like, break-in, I was just like, this is making zero sense. They seem to be very, like, goal-driven here, but I have no idea why. And then Chow Yun-Fat all of a sudden is part of the mix, and he wasn't in the second one, right? Or was he?
No. Chow Yun-Fat is in this movie, and that's it. And it sucks because I think he's doing a pretty good job in this movie. But anytime I see Chow Yun-Fat in like a bad, like Hollywood movie, I'm just reminded of all the times Chow Yun-Fat was awesome in Hong Kong movies. Like
not
watching
used
this movie,
well. Yeah.
I just like I wanted to watch like Hard Boiled or something instead.
No, you didn't want to watch Bulletproof Monk?
I've never seen it, but I hear it's a stay tuned.
Yeah, it probably is. I saw that in the theater.
Oh, nice. Well, you're a big Sean William Scott fan.
Yeah, of course.
Well, he's like the pirate king of Singapore, sort of, or whatever.
Well,
pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, and so Gibbs and that whole crew are coming in like the Penguins crew. Like they're coming in underneath everything, and then the monkey is cranking the Tom Waits machine that makes the Tom Waits music start playing.
We stand
and
back
then
for Singapore.
Yeah, that's the monkey cranking it. And then
wait, the monkey's cranking it, dude?
You want the monkey to crank her?
It was the best part of the movie. It's the monkey cranking it.
It's funny because Ben, you said that this was like Pirate Team 6. I was thinking also like these pirates, dude. This is like I call them like the lovable pirates, like our Disney collective of pirates at this point, like Jack Sparrow's crew, the recurring characters for all 3 movies so far. They're coming out of the water, dude, like it's fucking Vietnam with these helmets on and everything.
They're after Colonel Kurtz right now, apparently.
I do appreciate the Ripleyization of Keira Knightley's character, Elizabeth Swann, in this. But it's a little too much when like she shows up at the palace gates or whatever, and they're like, oh, you have to relinquish all your weapons. And she starts taking them out. She pulls a gun out of her ass, like very specifically a shotgun. She like kind of cranks it. Oh, hold on. Wait,
where's that been hiding?
Yeah, Jesus.
It's kind of funny though. And this is, I guess maybe it's a mildly unfair criticism to weigh on this joke, but like, it's just awful watching her pull a fucking huge gun out of her ass like that. But like, if it was Gibbs doing it, I wouldn't blink.
Well, Gibbs, that makes total sense.
Just like, oh, Keira Knightley, not you too. You're pulling guns and swords out of nooks and crannies.
I just don't believe it coming out. That blunderbuss is not coming out that clean. Either way.
Either way.
Gibbs has a lot more cranny space, right? Like it's more believable.
Yeah, yes.
Right, more internal compartments you could put stuff. But it reminded me of Jack Nicholson pulling out that long pistol in Batman.
Yes, yeah, totally.
Yep.
Will Turner has been arrested or whatever, has been seized because he tried to steal these scrolls. And they're like, obviously he's like, well, all these, one white guy just got tried to steal from me, and now all these other white people are showing up. Well, what's going on here? Kind of a thing.
This was a breakout mission. They're going in for Will in this opening scene.
And these scrolls to wherever and
to whatever
they know. So Ben, just to catch you up really quickly, the tail end of the last movie is Jack Sparrow is presumed dead, and so they hear from the woman in this movie who winds up being Calypso.
Right.
In the last movie, she's like, hey man, here's the thing, you could go get Jack back, you just have to go to the World's End to do it. And so that's why they're like all on this mission together,
right?
Because we have to save Jack Sparrow is the idea.
Okay.
And the last time that we saw Jack Sparrow, he was diving headfirst into a Kraken mouth.
Yes. Yeah, he was eaten by the Kraken and taken to Davy Jones'
I think
locker.
we said Kraken ass.
Oh, it might be the
sphincter
ass.
Well. Also, the Kraken is dead in this movie, and we never see it. And I'm like, the fuck are you talking about?
How about instead of starting your movie, Gore Verbinski, with fucking useless pirate genocide and protest songs, we start with the funeral for the Kraken.
Or the Kraken's at the gallows, man. They build a huge Kraken gallows.
Kraken, you have been sentenced to hang until dead.
That's cool. I could see them doing that in like a Pacific Rim sequel.
If you try to hang a Kraken, it's definitely going to be dangling there for a while.
It doesn't even make sense to have a hole, sir. What the hell are you talking about? Just burn it.
Mr. Kraken, we've brought a priest, a rabbi. We've also got an imam here. We're not sure what religion you are, but we do want to give you your last rites as a Kraken.
Your last meal here, children. We're not going to be able to do that.
It's kind of the reason we're executing you, Kraken.
Also, Ben, the other thing is in the second movie, you have no Geoffrey Rush until the tail end where Calypso is like, by the way, there's only one person that can get you to the World's End. And Geoffrey Rush sort of saunters on screen for the last 2 seconds. And he's like, so what's become of my ship? So that's why the villain of the first film,
right,
is with them. And they're buds.
And seemingly part of the crew and all that stuff. But
Yeah.
Oh, but he has his own agenda, as we'll find out.
Everyone's got their own
Everyone.
agenda, guys.
That's the
Yeah.
thing. That is the underlying problem with all of these movies is there's too many characters for all of them to have different motivations.
Yes.
Like we need at least you need to do one of two things. Either there's less characters that
Great
you're
idea.
giving motivations to, or there's like fucking teams of people.
Yes.
Because like the singular, like I'm on this mission, they're on that mission, and then like we're all double and triple crossing each other. You need that 10-page Wikipedia plot summary.
I'm saying, get rid of Pirate Congress. We're ready to go.
Yeah,
Get rid of the fucking Congress. I'm tired of it.
I was
So
trying to read that plot summary to just keep up with it. It's like 1,000 words.
it's an insane for a plot summary. And
Summary. The summary is 1,000 words.
because
Like,
there's so many twists and turns and twists and turns. And again, this is the last movie, so there should be big revelations or whatever to get to know who's who. But
Yeah.
like that's it. You don't get like to just keep twisting and turning and twisting.
You know, the funny thing about that Wikipedia entry makes me wonder, and this sounds like a totally high thought, and I assure you that I'm not high yet today.
yet.
It's always a yet, dude. It's not
Right.
an if, but a when these
Yeah.
days, especially with the quarantine madness.
Yeah.
But you ever think sometimes, like, how the internet works? Like, someone
Nope.
had to fucking write that plot summary.
Oh,
Someone
yeah.
had to, some massive fan of this movie had to sit there and write those 1,000 words out.
And it still sounds strained, like the description of it. Like they're
Yeah.
like they're
Yeah,
pained.
presumably they like it.
Yeah,
Right.
sure.
Oh.
So there's a big pirate fight here. Beckett's boys show up and all sorts of stuff starts to happen.
Well,
Right,
we should
there's a-
say,
There's a
Uh,
raid on Chow Yun Fat's place. Yeah.
Yes.
yeah, there's a big raid. We should say his name is Safang.
Mhm.
Is Chow Yun Fat's character, and they're talking about convening the Brethren Court.
And
And
the
this is the Pirate Congress.
And
Ugh.
the 8 pieces of 9, dude. Drink a shot of rum every time you hear about the 8 pieces of 9.
Dude, what the fuck ever?
I love that
piratey
Star-
riddle.
I love that Star Trek character.
Pieces of 9.
Yeah, they're fighting each other. It's kind of fun, not really, but there's a fun upskirt shot. One of Mackenzie Crook is under the
Oh.
grate, and he looks up and he sees Elizabeth. She was wearing like this weird, like a skirt to this event.
Right.
For
And-
him, that great became a great, right? Like a, I mean,
That one I think only
Yeah.
works because we can see you, dude.
I did air quotes for great.
There it is.
Yeah, it's a fine little fight, and then Will Turner sneaks off with Safang, and they kind of make a pact with each other, right? Is that how that works? Because
Yep.
I can't keep these pacts straight.
So
Everyone has
he-
a pact with everyone.
Yeah, the
Yes.
idea is, oh fuck, let's see if I can do this. I'm probably gonna
Okay.
mess this up. But so his main motivation is setting his dad free.
Come on, dude. Grow
From
the
Davy
fuck
Jones.
up.
No, I
Correct.
know. And also, like, come on, fucking look at this guy, dude. You're telling me you're gonna want to look at that every Christmas?
Exactly. This
Let
guy's
that dude
not,
be dead.
this guy's not going to settle down in Florida with a new wife. He's got barnacles coming out of his
Yeah.
face. It's over with.
Yeah, you don't know that those things are gonna go away.
Mhm.
Even if you free him, he might still have some of that shit.
You're totally right, Kevin. It's a gamble I would not take.
Come on.
But so the only way to do that is for Will to get his hands on the Black Pearl and Jack
Yep.
Sparrow.
Yep.
Of course, Geoffrey Rush also wants the Black Pearl because he still sees it as his ship. He is still the captain as far as he's concerned, so he's willing to do this mission. And I think that's the deal.
Oh, and
With-
Elizabeth
and-
feels bad about betraying Jack in the last film.
That's
So
right.
she's trying to find redemption.
And crucially, Beckett's number 2 guy is about to kill Safang or Orlando Bloom, but hears all this and uses it to try to con Jack Sparrow into taking part of taking the Black Pearl.
Oof. Yeah,
See,
yeah,
this
sure.
it is so much. I do want to say though, in this this pirate row here, before we get too far away from it. Another thing that I was shocked. I mean, and here is the duality, or the that's the wrong the double standards. What I'm trying to say of Disney as a corporation. We were talking a couple weeks ago about how on Disney Plus, if you watch the film Splash, at the end of it, when Daryl Hannah runs back into the water and
No
she's
more
not going to be a
ass.
mermaid anymore. Yes.
Hair butt.
The ass is gone and she's got a fucking Ewok on her fucking butt cheeks, right?
Hair butt.
Wait,
Now-
Hair butt.
now
Ben,
that
you
is-
said that like you discovered it. Like you were the guy that was like, "Oh no!"
so the crack is gone?
The crack is
Yeah.
gone,
Totally
dude.
gone.
It's just like a
Warwick
fleshy
the Ewok.
orb?
Ben, it looks like her ass is going as someone from ZZ Top for Halloween.
Yep.
Mhm. Okay, and so they decide to do that. They edit Ron Howard's film like that. But in this movie, it's completely acceptable for me to watch a woman get shot point blank in the fucking forehead. Did you guys see that lady?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's pretty-
yeah.
it's
She gets her
pretty serious.
brains blown out.
Wait.
I'm just like, what are you doing?
This is when the British troops, the East India Trading Company barges into the
Yes.
opium den or wherever that was.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Okay.
there's in the row, a gun goes off, and this woman gets shot right in the fucking head, like
It's
right, between the eyes.
Yeah.
And I was
Yeah.
like, okay, so that's totally fine for kids to see, but fucking two little butt cheeks is a problem?
Well,
Come on.
now, mind you, we've already had a couple of 100 deaths and a child be
Also
strung
true.
up. So, it's just kind of a par for the course, apparently.
It's just fucking bonkers, dude, that they're like totally fine with this violence, but like innocent nudity that's played as a joke, at the end of that movie.
Oh, no.
Is like, no, we gotta spend
No.
fucking $500,000 to add cousin It on her ass.
So they get a ship from Safang to go to the World's End. They got the map now. They're going. Nobody decides to bring a fucking coat.
No,
Dude,
not
I
at
don't
all.
know. I don't know what this is, man, because like these people are like at one time cold and at the same time like not like
Yes.
the actors aren't really doing a great job at like freezing to death.
Well, some
What
guy chips off his toe. His toe comes
Whoa.
off.
Makes the ultimate sacrifice.
That was really fucking disgusting.
It almost got me.
The problem is that they don't want to fight Iggy Koopa. If they had just done that, they would get the new outfit that would allow them to
Oh,
go
of
through this
course.
passage and be like warm.
But don't you, when you're like, yar, we're about to do a voyage. Okay, it be cold, so we're gonna want to bring coats. We're gonna bring food for 25 days, rum for enough.
Well, maybe they're
yar.
all just too stupid because this map is like a weird map. You got to like turn it and it
Oh,
like
right.
changes. And also, pirates are stupid. So they've been out to sea too long, haven't had lemons, their brain don't work.
This little dial that they have to use as the map, this little circular thing, reminded me of it's one of the dumbest things ever. My old like computer gaming days in the 90s, I had like it was like a John Madden football game like for PC. And the way that you
Welcome to John Madden on the PC, where you got to use the F key to throw the ball. It's really uncomfortable.
Dude, I
Bam!
wish there was talking like there was
Whap!
none of that. His fucking like fat face was on the cover.
You like it when two guys hit each other, they go whap.
Now, what you're gonna want to do is kill your shipmate and eat him as for sustenance. That's what That's what John Madden would do, and that's what you should do.
I was gonna say that's a weird Pat Summerall impression, Chris.
All this to say that the way like when you turned on the game, you had to put in a password. Like it would tell you certain ways
fuck
to
yeah, dude.
to turn this fucking dial.
That makes you
What?
feel like exclusive.
I guess so, dude. But it took like 5 minutes to log into this game where you just like ran plays. It was the most obnoxious thing.
Hey, Andrew, you really are good at turning me on.
Hey, how about a sandwich?
I do love, it does also remind me of that thing in grade school of like, does Jimmy like you? The weird like little four-corner
right.
paper
the
thing.
little folded tent paper.
Exactly. It's,
Yeah.
Oh, that kind of looks like a pirate hat.
It kind of
It
does.
sort of does.
I was wondering about that tool. because it does resemble something that was constructed like at lunch break. Wouldn't that thing have just like gotten waterlogged at this point? Like it seemed rather crisp for how chintzy it was.
Especially the more you use it, the more it's going to jam up on you. And
you're going to get gunk in there.
Beard hair, at least that monkey's touching it. Lord knows what that thing's got.
I love that
dude,
monkey.
The last thing you want is gunk in your fucking pirate wayfinder, man.
We do see a little bit of Beckett here. He's like commanding all these dudes, and he gives the order to kill Jonathan Pryce, right? Did I get that right, or does that he does give?
Yes.
Yeah, he definitely does. Also, it's important to point out right here, Steve, this moment that you're mentioning is where we also find out that Davy Jones is in the employ of Lord Beckett.
Oh, I really, one of the key elements of this series that I keep enjoying is the sort of anti-capitalist stuff, because the elected official, or I don't even know how governors came about back then, whoever had the right blood, I guess.
Murder.
So he's forced just to sign laws written by the East India Trading Company, much like modern day Congress.
Yep.
Yeah, no, that's totally, dude. Like East India Trading Company, like gave money to his fucking campaign.
Yeah.
And then they wrote all the fucking laws they wanted him to sign. Definitely.
And then they realize they don't need him anymore. So they say, they you know, I think he tells the Squid Man to kill him or whatever. Off fucking screen, both my two favorite characters, the Kraken and Jonathan Pryce, are killed off screen.
I will say though, the cool thing about that is I didn't entirely think like there was a death order on Jonathan Pryce. He like overhears them talk. He's like working for him, so he like looks up from his desk, whatever. It's effective when later in the film, when they're in fucking purgatory, like sailing through it, and they see Jonathan Pryce there, and you're like, oh, that dude's dead. That's kind of cool.
Do you think?
But also, like Beckett is also like making fun of Davy Jones for crying and playing his piano all night.
I like that.
That like I'm like, Davy Jones has a squid mouth. Just eat this guy's head off, and fucking you are the head of the East India.
But I have
Trading
the
Company
hot,
now.
Jones. I have the hot. Which then he ends up storing on Davy Jones's own ship. Doesn't seem like
Doesn't
a
make a lot
smart
of sense.
maneuver.
How did Beckett come into possession of the heart? Is that like a second movie thing that you have to go over?
Norrington gave it to him.
Who did?
The guy who is Norrington, Admiral Norrington.
Okay, all right.
The guy who gets like stabbed by Stellan Skarsgård when he lets Keira Knightley like leave the ship.
Yep.
That dude in the previous film uses his possession of the heart and giving it to Lord Beckett as a way to ingratiate himself with Beckett. The dude is like, he's like a washed out naval man from the first
disgraced.
movie.
Yeah, he's been disgraced, and this gives him back a commission and a name and title.
So a thing of like what was previously thought to be a trinket is this all important, I guess, MacGuffin, like
one of
heart.
the many. Yeah, the heart of like Davy Jones. If you have it, you can control him, and he's like this all powerful fish monster. But I mean, I feel like we talk about it a little bit in the movie, but like, wouldn't you like quit if you're in the employ? Like, I don't want to be working with fish people. I'm sorry.
This is the thing that is really, really.
Call me a racist.
That's the Gordon Fisherman begins.
Here's the thing: is it's incredibly weird that in this movie you have the British Navy and East India Trading Company people working alongside these fucking barnacle pirates and all these fish people and everything, and no one thinks it's weird.
Yeah.
No one is acknowledging that they're standing next to a fucking monster.
There'd be like crab racism of some kind. You got to have a line. And this is where I know I always talk about Star Wars, but on Empire, when Admiral Pete's like, oh, bounty hunters, we don't need their scum, looking at that fucking lizardman. Like, you need,
that's
I
at
need
least something.
I need some type of characterization between these troops are less characterized than stormtroopers.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. The problem is that like Davy Jones has really taken a hit. The reason you wanted him on your side is because he had a Kraken.
Yeah.
And guess what? The Kraken's fucking dead.
And they
washed up on a beach somewhere.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, didn't Beckett or someone say that they had murdered? They had willingly killed the Kraken.
which is fucking nuts. They are fucking stupid as shit.
Wait a second. The Kraken wasn't dead from the last movie?
No, the Kraken's alive at the end of the last
No.
movie. This all happens totally off screen.
Yeah.
The
Fuck,
Kraken
I
was
completely
Dude,
missed that.
Did
You gotta
Johnny
read-
Depp
was-
going
gotta read
into
the
its
comics.
butthole kill it? Is that
Oh,
No,
maybe.
no.
little bit of food poisoning, love.
Kraken was going back home down into like the lower depths where like the volcano areas are, down
Mhm.
to see his family, and then Johnny Depp was farting his way out of him.
Or
to
like the
see
Kraken,
his family.
the Kraken was finally going to get made. He was going to be a real mobster. He walked into a certain area of reef.
Oh, no.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we're on this boat. We're freezing. Our toes are popping off. Everyone's got their own motivations, and we have to go to fucking hell essentially via boat.
Yes.
And the only way to get there is to find a green flash of light.
Which I was sort of thinking they meant like Aurora Borealis.
That's what I
like
thought too.
Yeah.
when you
But
see it, I guess it's not exactly that. I don't know.
Apparently, it's the green. Like it happens when a soul comes back into this world or leaves it. I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. There's some big Gibbs speech here. Now, Gibbs, by the way, you'll recall, folks at home, is the pirate who I say looks like Neil Young.
Right.
He
He's got
definitely
mutton
does.
chops.
Yes.
He's the first mate of Jack Sparrow.
He's also got a little bit of a meatloaf thing going.
A little
yeah, I can see that, Kevin. I definitely can. Yes,
What
he
in the
says
body weight department?
Also that, Eric.
He's got the
I
fucking.
didn't want to point that
He's
out.
got the fucking moobs, dude. No, so yeah, it's the line here. It's a signal of when a soul comes back from the dead. Is the thing. So
isn't it? It's
as-
also a play on like when the sun sets. Is that did
Yes.
people picked up on
Yeah.
that? Like you're
It's the
supposed.
sun setting kind of.
If you're looking at the sunset, you'll see just before it goes over the horizon a green
Yep.
flash.
No,
Yeah,
it's
totally.
actually about the Great Gatsby.
Yeah, I was gonna
Oh,
say
that was
I'm
a
gonna-
green light too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. Oh, and Geoffrey Rush is the dude who like knows how to do it. Like Captain Barbossa knows how to get there. He says that getting to the land of the dead isn't the problem.
Oh yeah.
It's getting back that's the problem.
Mm.
So we cut away from there for a bit. We got Davy Jones being all fucking emo, playing his Phantom of the Opera organ.
Ugh.
And this is this where no, I guess not. There is a scene later that's fucking ridiculous where he gets his little tentacles cut off. I was remembering Beckett like torturing him, but that's not the case because that's Jack Sparrow does that, right?
Yeah, he gets a
Yeah.
little piece of the chop there. I mean, yeah, it's just like he's twirling his fucking squid mustache, playing this goddamn piano.
Well,
There's a great shot of him crying, the little tear, and it like he dangles it on his tentacle.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
It's like he's playing with it, dude. It's like spit play.
Uh-huh.
But this is
Little drop.
another like ridiculous part of this movie when you've got like monsters and people working together like this. This scene is like Beckett storms in and basically like it's just it's Beckett and Davy Jones, and it's like pirate East India Trading Company red tape conversation. Like
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
need to hear the ins and outs of this process at all.
There's no like physical disdain for like you've got this Beckett villain, he's a human, and you have this squidmon, and it's like have him recoil at the slime or like something to make you feel like he's actually in a room with a squid and not just a digital creation.
Perfectly put, Ben. It's give us something that leads us to believe that this actor as the human isn't just acting alongside someone with tennis balls all over their head.
Exactly.
Right. Make him a character, like give him some reason why he wouldn't be intimidated by that. We see that he's got like grand portraits of himself and he's a big man in society, but I need to hear some war story or something. I need to know about what Beckett is, and I still don't.
Davy Jones, don't you know why I always have the upper hand? Because you, Davy Jones, have handled my ass doubloons. That's right, Davy Jones. I've been putting doubloons up my ass every day for 10 years. If he just does that whole UCB bit, that would be great.
Because
okay with
Davy
it.
Jones, I have hands.
A clap for me, Davy Jones. Oh, you can't give
what's
a
that?
lobster claw hand, don't you?
Having a little trouble? Why don't you clack it for me instead?
So
Yar.
even though we've been following this fucking map the whole time up to the Arctic Circle or Siberia or wherever we are, they're like, oh, where are we now? And Geoffrey Rush is like, well, we're lost. And to find where we're going, we had to get lost. Anyway, here's a waterfall.
Everything is pointless, yes.
I'm just here collecting me paycheck.
Fulfilling some contractual obligations.
Quite a bit of doubloons, I'll tell you.
I speak in graduation day platitudes. The best way to find a place you've never been is to get lost for a little while.
Oh my God, you're right.
And now we
that's
play the
fantastic.
graduation song by Vitamin C.
And we will all be friends forever.
So they go off this waterfall, and as
Well,
the boat,
is this
Yeah.
the world's end, or is this a waterfall?
I assume
I guess it's the end of the world, right?
Or is this
Yeah,
them
yeah.
just dying to get to purgatory? Like, well, we're dead.
wait,
Great question.
is
Yeah.
Pirate Purgatory Davy Jones's locker? Is this locker I've been hearing so
Yeah,
much about?
Yes.
I believe so.
Yes.
Johnny Depp is now trapped in Davy Jones's locker that has extreme Homer, find your soulmate vibes.
Dude,
Yeah.
I was fucking. Oh my
You were
God, dude! Last night, oh my God, last night we're watching the movie and we get to that scene, and I just go to Chelsea. You don't even own a computer, which is my favorite fucking Johnny Cash line from that episode. But that's exactly that. Just like weird. So we cut to a nose first of all, and you don't know what you're looking at exactly. But I was like, oh, that's Johnny Depp's nose. Like I knew it, you know. And it's like he's in the desert. Yeah, it's like it's a bunch of like white sand desert. The Black Pearl is there with him. He's just kind of like in this purgatorial thing with like clones.
It's very much. It reminds me a lot of the beginning of that. I think it's the third Matrix movie, maybe not the second one, wherein it's Neo at the train station, yada yada, like that kind of thing. Anybody?
When
Matrix
there's
is
multiple
actually-
Smiths.
An interesting thing to bring up because of how I was having some thoughts about like, why did this, like, I think there's some sort of parallel to be drawn with the two Matrix sequels as like mandated as they were by how successful it was. And like the way those got bloated and the way these movies are bloated, where it's just like,
Yep.
something's going on there where it's like, you must make this because it makes $1 billion. Like,
Yeah,
But
you're
it's-
totally right though. Like it's insane that like when you look at that Matrix trilogy and you look at the first three movies of this franchise, and by the time you're at the third one, it's so convoluted that it makes the first one look clear as day. Wow, that's impressive.
It's the Avengers thing too. It's the idea that like this thing that we liked the first time around, where it's just like, you know, either it's an action adventure superhero romp, or it's a kung fu sci-fi deal, or pirates swinging around. At the end of it, at the very big end, all these people on one side and all these people on the other side have to lift up their swords and yell and run towards each other on a fucking hill every fucking time. It's like, that's not
Yeah.
epic. Like, make it just cooler. Like, just find a way to make it cooler, not epicer.
and along that point, I think this was my favorite sequence in the movie because it wasn't epicer. It was like, it felt different. Like it was just this
Yes.
weird little interlude that was stylized and goofy.
You
I don't
can
know.
see also how after this movie, so what is it? 4 years later, he makes Rango. Like
Oh yeah.
this reminded me a lot of the visuals in Rango.
Yeah, like the
It
white
reminded
sand.
me of
Yes.
Multiplicity.
Why do you
Yeah, I
say
mean,
that?
He's like seeing all these like dupes of himself.
Oh, my God.
And yeah, some are dumber than other ones.
Yeah,
like
some
it's-
doesn't know how. They don't know how to eat a peanut. They're like, I don't know
So-
how to peanut.
Hey, so is Davy Jones, Andy McDowell in this situation, Eric?
Absolutely.
I'm gonna
Okay, so
fuck
she's good.
all of them. I do love there's this goat on this spaceship, or not the spaceship, but this ship in the middle of anywhere.
I think I know
Uh-huh.
where you're going here.
It and it's the best acting in the movie. It somehow looks at the camera and does a real it's a living look. And I'm like, wow, what a great look on a goat. How do you get a goat to act?
Dude,
Amazing.
I thought you were going to say that because all these like Depp clones are around, there's like one Captain Jack Sparrow that like kills another one, and you're supposed to believe that like the one doing the killing is like the one true Jack Sparrow or whatever. But like, so that dude like walks to the other end of the boat, and then there's Jack Sparrow sitting next to that goat who like slides a little closer to the goat. And I was like, that Jack Sparrow is a goat fucker.
Mm-hmm. I think that's also why he's like, it's a living.
Just getting fucked by another pirate. It's a living.
And then he winds up off the ship, and there's my favorite new character are the crab rocks. Those things are pretty cool.
Yeah, not too shabby. These crabs like all like get together and pick up the boat and move it.
Mm-hmm.
But he even has to kind of come onto the crab rocks
because
he licks the crab rock to make it like generate or something like
is
and
there
then flicks it.
There's definitely some slash fiction around crab rock.
Yeah, I would think so, right?
But his rocks off.
Was that also some connection with like Calypso, which we'll get to? Like, were those Calypso's crabs or
Question
like
mark?
Oh, did Calypso give those crabs to Jack Sparrow? Is that what you're asking?
She's also on the boat. We should have been said she's been kind of around the whole time. Who wasn't Calypso in the last movie? She was some other character's name, and
they still refer to her as whatever that name is. I can't
It's
remember. Tal something.
right?
Yeah, Talia Shire.
Yep,
no,
there it is.
No, it's the name is like she's Calypso in a human form, I guess is the idea.
Yeah, she's been like trapped inside this body, and this is the character played by Naomie Harris.
Yes,
for anyone not following along, which is totally understandable. So these fucking crabs pick up the boat, and Sparrow gets back on the boat, and here we go, the Black Pearl's moving through the desert. Meanwhile, all of our pirate friends wash up on the shore, and, you know, unremarkably, they're like, oh, cool, we're in Davy Jones' locker now, I guess. Yeah. It just looks like another island in the ocean. Okay.
Oh, and it happens that the Black Pearl's coming over the horizon just as we came here. Yep. Holy shit, what a coincidence. Yeah.
Well, it's just pacing and filmmaking, I guess.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a movie.
Chris, they have to keep this thing moving, you know. It's otherwise it could just drag on.
This movie could have used a drag on. You're right.
Oh, yep.
Oh man, the Kraken's brother, the dragon, shows up. What'd you do to my brother?
Which one of them is dead? Which one's of them is dead? Fucking
Which
Chris
one
Cooper.
of them's Kraken's dead?
Chris Cooper as the dragon. Absolutely.
Love it.
Fuck,
absolutely
that would be fucking great.
We found out on our Patreon episode that he was cut out of the ring. Come on, Gore. Come on, Gore.
Yeah, you got to make it up to him, man, right?
Did Gore do Rango as well?
He did.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
which I remember being a decent movie, right?
Yeah, it's fun.
Pretty trippy movie.
I have not seen it.
Dude, it's I would probably recommend it in a green sense of the word. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, he is green, the lizard, right?
Yep, that's exactly what I meant, dude. Thanks for catching on.
Yes.
I'll make sure my TV's calibrated to pick up the color green.
They all decide to get
Calibrate
on
your TV. I like that as a term.
they
back.
got on the fucking pirate ship to go back to wherever.
He doesn't believe that they're real at first.
Right.
Is the whole thing. He thinks they're a hallucination. Jack Sparrow has an adverse reaction to seeing Elizabeth Swann in this scene, and she's like, he thinks that we're all a hallucination. And I was like, oh, that's what's going on in this scene. Thank you for fucking clarifying why he's acting like this.
Cut to Keira Knightley asleep in this scene during at the theater, like just like fucking snoring.
Her boyfriend's like, oh man, hey babe, you're doing really great in this scene. So we have the whole gang is in Davy Jones' locker, which includes in this movie full-fledged members of the crew, the two wacky pirates, Mackenzie, Crook, and other guy from Seinfeld, the parking space guy. No,
you can't escape them.
The phony.
They are, man. That Jack Sparrow is so phony. But did you guys notice in this movie, I don't know why they just decided to change it up. That guy from Seinfeld is just wearing weird contact lenses for no reason.
He's like a Rob Zombie movie. He's like a psychobilly a little bit.
Right.
Yes, it's fucking weird.
Or he's turning into Darth Maul.
Oh, that could be.
So we're trying to find our way back. This is when we also find out that Jonathan Pryce is dead, and he's like, "Oh, your guess is as good as mine."
How did I die? I'll never know. They cut it from the movie. We filmed it. They cut it. We're here.
Look, I'm on a boat now. It's quite comfortable,
I do kind of like the visual of all these people on these rowboats with just one lantern in this purgatory water.
It's pretty cool, man. And we learn right before they get up to all these boats, or maybe it's like right when they start coming around, we use Naomie Harris as a vessel for some real expository dialogue. And she's explaining the whole thing about Davy Jones and reminding us that the whole thing with like his curse is that his job is to ferry these people in the boats into the afterlife. Like that is his obligation under this curse. And we're told that the reason that he looks all fucked up the way he does is because he's been negligent in his duties.
Yeah, he's horrible at it. Have you been looking what he's been doing? He's been
I
hanging out with pirates all the time.
I brought my phone into the bathroom, and I'm not getting anything else done today.
Looks like you've been missing a lot of work lately. I wouldn't say I've been missing it.
Oh, it's Davy Jones talking to the Bobs.
Davy Jones in Office Space.
Oh my God, that would be pretty great.
It's just a problem of motivation, is what it is.
The East Indian Trading Company had pieces of flair that they'd make us wear.
I think
I'm going to burn the building down.
You need an extra barnacle, or you're not wearing enough barnacles.
Yeah, exactly.
Did somebody steal me saber?
Yeah, so like, but so that's it. Like, I guess, like, yeah, I mean, that's a message from the Disney Corporation to those who slack off at work. Is like, yeah. You will turn into a fucking squid, my friend.
Yeah, get back to it.
But like, yeah, I also love the idea where he just gets sick of it. He's like, I'm not doing this anymore. Like, I don't know.
He's totally checked out, dude. It's like he's choosing to look like a monster because basically he's checked out at his job.
It makes total sense because what you just have barnacles on your face, because that's just in general is you're going to have barnacles on your face.
Sure.
If that's going to be happening, might as well have a bunch of not do my job and just have a couple squid face tentacles happening.
I don't know,
fine.
man. I'd rather look
That's
like
fine.
a human being than a fucking squid person.
You're
Just
not
me.
You're not going to look like a human being. You're going to have a barnacle on your nose.
No, they're getting all of those things because they're fucking off at work, dude.
Oh, even the barnacles? I thought it was just squid stuff.
No, because
No.
that's why at the end of the movie, spoiler alert for anyone who could give a shit at this point, when Will Turner takes over the job to do that shit, he's doing the work. And that's why none of them look like monsters anymore.
Wait, so they just did like what, decades of work in that little 1 minute thing?
Well,
there?
no, I
Exactly.
think the idea is they're like, listen, Davy Jones has fucked up a lot of this operation.
Yeah.
There's no way we can go through this backlog. Let's just say all of those records were destroyed in a flood, and you can start
This is
start
disgusting.
clean.
You could
Well,
say
so-
they
so
were
we-
flushed down a giant toilet.
Yes, to hell. Like a toilet to hell might exist.
Okay.
So, I mean, I guess we kind of established that Will Turner becomes Davy Jones in the end. He gets that power and he unclogs the toilet so he doesn't look like a monster.
Also, like, so you have to ferry people who die at sea. I'm curious,
Yes.
what's the land situation? If I die on land,
Also,
just taking me to the next realm.
Sure.
It's some like bear or pig person or something, dude. Something from the forest.
But what if it's two elements like air and sea, like TW8 Flight 800? Now, does that
Yes.
fall in the jurisdiction
Oh,
of
man,
Davy
yeah,
Jones
you know what?
or
Great scenario to bring up, dude. The jurisdictional pissing contest that would have happened.
Some enormous eagle is like fighting with Davy Jones. Like, listen,
Yeah.
they
they
died.
died in the skies, I tell you.
It's kind of like when you see, like in movies and TV, like when the FBI comes in and takes over a case from a local operation.
It's an eagle with a lion's head.
Yes, exactly.
Brings out a clipboard. takes some files from Davy Jones and says, "Fuck off."
I picture griffins plunging into the water, snatching bodies out from the ground.
Davy Jones is
This
going to
belongs
prove.
to us. Yes.
Davy Jones versus Griffin Wingsworth.
I love it.
Griffin Wingsworth.
That'd be fantastic.
Yeah, I got to talk like this, though, because my name's Griffin Wingsworth.
Okay. How about this?
Technically, they died in the air before they hit the water. One side, Jones.
Davy, go back down there where you belong.
We bring this guy into like a steampunk version of Pirates of the Caribbean where we're on airships.
Yep.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
And we
like
have to
it.
deal with
Here
that
we
guy.
go.
Definitely.
Yes, Jones, I'll call you if a crab has a heart attack or something.
Oh, my God.
Quite.
What a condescending son of a bitch.
See, that's what we need out of Bennett. Something like that.
Yeah,
You know?
that's a line.
Come
You're
on.
totally right.
They're going around. There's a really cool shot somewhere around here where like the ship looks like it's floating in space, but it's just because the water is so clear and the stars are really bright. It's a cool looking visual. I will find ways to compliment this movie when I can.
Absolutely, dude. I think that is for the benefit of all of us doing this entire franchise. If we could find some pockets of sunshine here, I do think once you get past the pirate genocide at the beginning of this movie, everything else looks really good.
Sure.
It's way less drab. I really like this sequence though of like it's Jonathan Pryce. He's sitting alone in this boat, you know, and like Elizabeth starts freaking out. She tries to get him to like come onto the boat. She throws him a rope. He doesn't take it, you know, and he sails out of sight. And you have Calypso says he's at peace, which is it's like a nice moment in this movie.
No, honey, I can't do it. I'm waiting for Davy Jones to shepherd me across. I can't just take your rope. It's his only job. I'm just going to wait here for Davy. He's certainly not a layabout.
Do you think there's like a huge clog of people in those little boats trying to get through somewhere? And it's like, eventually Davy Jones is going to be here to open this door for us.
Absolutely. Did you see the toilet at the end of the movie? It's still swirling for 50 minutes. That thing is clogged.
Right. that toilet's when the movie really circles the drain.
It's one of those things.
Ooh.
If you've ever been like on a ride, like at Disney World or whatever, it's like a log flume, and it's taking a little while for people to get off, and you're like, "God damn, this sucks."
You know, I haven't because I'm not a little rich boy.
You never went to a shitty theme park and rode a log
I
flume?
went to Six Flags once as a child, and we never went to anything ever
And
again.
watched the log flume with jealousy.
Parking lot.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly, like a concert. Like, why pay for it?
Oh no, I was imagining, hey babe, it's your big emotional scene with Jonathan Pryce. Hey babe.
Speaking of logs, son.
I love that according to our impression, Keira Knightley's date to the premiere of this movie was Otto from The Simpsons. Hey Keira, wake up.
Hey Keira, Jonathan Pryce is staring at you.
You know, if only movie theaters had a big abandoned sign on them. But this was the #1 movie of the world in 2007, right?
Made
Oh,
$1 billion.
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Is this, I wonder, are there any, I'm sure there are stats because you got box office stats for everything, but like, where does this rank as far as like the highest grossing sequel? I mean, that's, now all those like Marvel movies probably wiped this movie off. the
Yeah,
map,
I'm
but-
sure
I saw
Endgame
some-
is #1.
I saw something today that this is the 12th ranking franchise of all time, for whatever that's worth.
Wow. 12th franchise.
Mhm.
I would have figured
Right.
that was higher. Huh.
Yeah, you would think so too.
Yeah, no,
There's-
so it's the MCU, the Gone with the Winniverse. What else is there? Star Wars, Star Trek.
Like,
Charlie Chaplin's entire tramp filmography.
Right, the Charlie Chan mysteries. It's a bit of dark and sordid history of cinema.
there's some on there, though, that like are above it just because of the sheer amount. Like Bond,
Yeah.
I think, is above it because it
Oh,
has like,
sure.
20 movies or
Yeah.
something like that.
Star Wars is probably up
Yeah.
there.
Things that have been re-released. But
Your Lord of the Rings, all those Hobbit movies get folded in too.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Counts.
Yeah, that's
Only
up there.
6.
I mean, you know, I think Andrew, you were talking about before about how there's so many different, like all these characters have their own motivations. It becomes hard to track. And I've been rewatching the Lord of the Rings movies with this concurrently, and that at least it's like, okay, so Frodo and Sam go on an adventure together. Merry and Pippin go on an adventure together, and they're separated.
Yes.
They might have common goals, but we are on separate adventures, and we don't have to have all these characters divided against themselves.
Well, because the characters are always also lying to each other and the audience for large swaths of the movie.
Yeah.
To when they're like, well, actually, I was a double. And I'm like, well, I didn't give a shit to begin with. And now I'm just confused.
That's what you can always say about those little hobbits, dude. They are nothing if they are not honest.
Yeah.
They cannot tell a lie.
That's right.
They have to go upside down to get out of this whole situation. And Jack Sparrow starts running up and down the ship like a little kid.
Right. To try to flip the boat because they need to. What was the exact term? It was like, you have to, it's at sundown. Get it, folks? So it's the sunset and you have to turn the ship upside down and then you could escape purgatory and come back to the real world.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a little weird about running around the ship to try to flip it, but I thought it was kind of cool visual to have like the, you know, the sea go down and become the sky when they do flip it.
It looks awesome. Yeah. I mean, when you're waiting for it to happen and you're just like, all right, like how many times do they have to run back and forth? This movie's almost 3 hours long, but when it does flip, it looks fucking killer. And I have to say, it's really interesting. And I wonder, from like a SFX person's point of view, like when you're making movies like this, do they have to make concessions about what looks good and what doesn't? Because this looks awesome, but there's a shot when we first see Davy Jones and the Dutchman like come out of the water, it looks kind of bad. It's like a CGI ship moving really fast, so it doesn't really work. And then we'll get to it at the end. But Beckett's demise in this movie is one of the worst looking things. But I think it's like intentionally bad looking.
So
I thought, well, when Beckett does bite the bullet, who, you know, we're jumping around this movie, who could care, right?
Yeah.
When he's like walking down the stairs and the ship's exploding around him, I thought it was kind of neat.
Dude, it looks like an ad for a fucking Comedy Central roast.
I mean, it's kind of like...
I thought it looked terrible.
He survived Norrington's fucking japes.
I mean, if you pull up ads on YouTube for like the roast of William Shatner, he's like punching fireballs in that commercial, and it looks like shit.
I was waiting for a behind it.
Yes, dude, he needs something. It looks fucking terrible.
So, do you think Davy Jones would be the MC at that point?
Yeah.
Oh, he'd be the fucking the roast master boiler dude because it's all seafood.
You know how Lord Beckett has so many portraits of himself, but he's really a blank canvas if you get down to the characterization.
For some reason, Gilbert is also performing at that.
Obviously, I think Gilbert's like an interdimensional fish person as well.
Yeah.
What? I can't tell my 9/11 joke on this roast either?
What do you call it when Davy Jones fucks you in the ass? A fire in the hole.
That's a good Gilbert.
Gilbert's a
great.
national treasure, by the way. He was on the show once, by the way. Check it out in our back catalog.
So they true to form in this film, you're like, okay, they finally escaped purgatory. Now the movie can go on. Like, Mexican standoff for some reason because everyone's got competing agendas. I'm like, can we just fucking get on with it?
And the thing about this Mexican standoff, by the way, is that they do a really awful thing of like everybody starts the standoff and then we're all laughing about it.
Yeah. Well,
Like, isn't this so much fun?
They all have wet powder, so none of the guns work. So it's kind of like oopsie doodle.
Well, that's what's crazy though, is they're all laughing and then it's like back to being serious for a second. And I think is it Orlando Bloom pulls the trigger? Somebody pulls the trigger first with a gun in someone's face, intending to kill this person, and it doesn't go off.
Yeah.
And then they all fire and none of the guns fire because wet gunpowder.
Also, when Captain Jack Sparrow and Captain Barbossa are trying to battle for influence over the ship, and they both have the spy glasses, and it becomes like a dick joke that happens more than once.
Yeah, you're totally right. It is the first of two whose is bigger or my dick is big jokes in, again, this Disney movie that also features a child being hung, a woman shot point blank in the forehead, and what we'll get to at the end of the movie, someone almost performing cunnilingus on someone else.
Wait, are you talking about the when Davy Jones like fucking fucks this dude's face with his tentacles?
Because that's another one.
No. So that's another. So we got that to go for.
And surprisingly, that was not from the slash fiction. That actually happens in the movie. Davy Jones puts his tentacles up someone's nose and like really just like,
I think that inspired quite a bit of slash fiction.
I think so, yeah.
You are not wrong.
Yeah.
There is a great moment, by the way, not to go back to the boat flip for too long, but when they flip the boat, there's a moment where all of the actors are filmed underwater, and man, you want to talk about unflattering. Geoffrey Rush held underwater and someone starts a camera rolling. Eep.
Also, the what were the two idiots named? Mackenzie, Crook, and
Seinfeld guy. Yeah.
Yeah, they tie themselves to the mast and they're upside down. It's the moments of comedy in this film.
Thank you for bringing that up. I didn't make a note about it, but it confused me at the time. Why did that happen?
Well, because they're like, if we're going to be upside down, we'll be the only ones right side up. But they actually did the math wrong, and now they're always upside down.
Oh, that's fucking dumb as donkey dick.
They thought they'd get the upper hand, I guess. It's just... Yeah.
But they had to clearly have had some other pirate tie them to the mast, right?
Dude, it's just a visual gag to wait to increase this runtime.
But speaking of increasing the runtime, what is the thing about... Because it's really a blink and you miss it, and it seems like it could have been a bigger deal. What is the thing where like they come ashore again for some reason, and they're like, look at this cephalopod that's here, and it's just this big beached fucking monster in that one shot.
That's the Kraken, dude.
That's the Kraken.
That's the Kraken. I missed it entirely. I was like, what's this dinosaur?
He had the Jurassic Park moment, right? Like staring into the eyeball.
Yeah, he did.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, like that's kind of like the next movement. They get on land and then they find Cheyenne Fat's people come and take them, right? That's how this works.
Yeah, it's like these dudes that at one point were like, well, hey, we got no one else to, pledge our allegiance to, so we'll go with you for a little bit. And then they fucking turn on them.
I would definitely be cutting a little bit of that Kraken off because it looks pretty fresh. Kraken sandwich. I just want to know what it's like.
But nobody's, unless I completely missed that too, nobody uses the word Kraken right here, do they?
One of the idiots does like, we could pretend we killed the Kraken. Oi, 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 oi.
Oh, see, that's why I missed it, because whenever those motherfuckers open their mouths, these ears close right up.
Well, they're the ones who are originally saying that they want to open a little place where they can give Kraken sandwiches, $8 a pop or 8 doubloons a pop.
8 doubloons. Wow, that's pretty steep for a sandwich, I think. Man,
these millennials are spending so much on Kraken sandwiches.
Kraken toast.
Kraken toast. That's when you overcook it. That's a Steve Sadak toast.
We don't have enough time for that today, but we will fucking settle the score on how to grill a cheese on this fucking program.
Absolutely. We will have the cheese cast at another time. It's a weird thing when they get on land.
We should do that, by the way. We should actually do a grilled cheese competition when this is done.
All right.
A grilled cheese off, absolutely.
That'd be great on YouTube. We got a YouTube channel, a YouTube page, youtube.com/WeHateMovie.
We've been talking about doing more live stream events. There's one right there, the grilled cheese off.
Maybe Ben can judge.
Yes, there we go. Ooh.
I'm down. I just won't eat Eric's grilled cheese because I know he's going to put something in it.
No, I'll be there in the fucking chopped kitchen with you, and you can see what's happening.
This is where there's a weird sort of like Sparrow Barbossa heart to heart, where again we're talking about how like pirates are on their way out, kind of a thing. And this is what Barbossa feels, and Sparrow says, sometimes things come back, like you and I came back from the dead, like pirates could make a return. And Barbossa's like, nah, the world has changed or whatever. And Sparrow says that the world is the same, there's just less in it, is the idea. And I guess it's like Is he talking about how like since we've been venturing so much as human beings, there's less to discover?
I think that's part of it too. Yeah.
They're wise words from a complete asshole dumbass.
Well, okay. First of all, your opinion about Captain Jack Sparrow aside. At the same time, like he's saying that there's like less in the world or whatever. Motherfucker, you just came back from the land of the dead.
Uh-huh.
Be amazed by something. I need
Kraken
one
is
character.
dead. That's mourning the Kraken, I think.
Somehow the Kraken survived, dude. Pirates of the Caribbean 6.
No, I think Steve.
Clone
I think he's.
Kraken.
I think he's. He must be working on a graduation speech with a line like that.
That's very true.
You're totally right, Ben. That is the way you get out of that speech. It's the closing line, huge round of applause in the auditorium at the Civic Center where this graduation is being held.
Now let's throw our pirate's hat in the air. Yeah.
Kraken salad for everybody.
Oh, fuck. That sounds good, actually. But yeah, so this is where Safang returns.
Yeah.
And
something. There's a lot of going on here, wherein Keira Knightley ends up in his custody.
There's like 4 or 5 different double crosses / plannings that all happen at the same time.
Yep.
It's impossible to follow.
It's really tough. I needed this Wikipedia summary at this moment of the movie now more than ever.
And like, I understand the concept of like, oh, pirates, they're treacherous, but like, they can be loyal to a captain. We don't need to keep doing this. I rewatched 1935's Captain Blood, starring Errol Flynn and Olivia de Havilland, who, by the way, somehow still alive.
Yeah, she is.
I'm almost worried about
Fountain of Youth.
Yeah, exactly. Great movie, amazing movie. What's great about that movie too is like Errol Flynn and Basil Rathbone having a sword fight, and it's just a sword fight without donkeys and wheels and shit, and it's fucking compelling.
Sure,
but
I was thinking about that. Funny enough, dude, in the scene in this movie where it's like I think it's in the final battle when Jack Sparrow and Davy Jones are fighting up on like the mast and everything, and it's like. They're way far away, like you can barely see them, and it's all the CGI and everything. And I thought back to Captain Blood, or even like fucking just Adventures of Robin Hood, like these Errol Flynn adventure movies where it's like all you really needed was 2 people that both had a sword and a fucking stone staircase and maybe a chandelier, and it was like the most exciting thing because you're watching. And not to say that like, you know, Bill Nighy and Johnny Depp weren't working up a sweat, you know, wearing all the prosthetics and CGI shit and having to do all this physical stuff. Like, I'm not saying that it's any less physical, but it's way less exciting when you're having to watch the battle that these 2 characters are having underneath like 1,000 layers of CGI and makeup.
Yeah. Exactly. And also like when they start fighting Davy Jones and Johnny Depp, they're like up on like the masts because you have to heighten it. It's like, okay, so we're doing the Star Wars prequel, so now we have to fight on fucking lava on a moving platform. Everything needs to be more and more. But what I was trying to get at was that in that movie, Errol Flynn, like, he helps free all these people from slavery and disenfranchisement, so they are with him till death.
Exactly. There is loyalty among pirates.
Yeah. There has to be.
And that's one line of conflict. Like, I can understand it because all the tension is on this fight between them. Whereas this, I have to spend 20 minutes deciding, is Jack Sparrow gonna get the fucking black pearl, or is Will gonna get the black pearl? Oh wait, there's a toilet flush. Okay, let's get to the toilet flush.
Don't forget Barbarossa. Everyone wants the black pearl. The black pearl.
So you're talking about the conflict for 45 minutes, and then you actually have to watch the fights that don't matter because you already talked about everything.
They wind up, so she winds up on Elizabeth winds up on Safang's ship.
Yeah.
He tries to rape her really quick. That's his move.
Dude, he fucking forces himself on her and like kisses her. And I was like, once again, Bob Iger and all the rest of you fucking people, may I remind you, I have kids here.
But it wouldn't be realistic now, would it?
It didn't make any sense.
We put the same kind of scene into Milo and Otis. What do you want from us?
To Ben's point, yeah, it doesn't make sense. I don't know where this is coming. We don't know anything about Safang. He's not even shown that he's that attracted to her to begin with, right?
Right. And he was kind of a cool villain in the beginning, like, dark and mysterious. And now all of a sudden he's just like a patsy. He's like a simp for this lady.
He's got like 10 minutes of screen time.
Yeah.
Well, a question I have, because I wrote a note down here while I was watching it, and I guess maybe the question is, does Safang think that Elizabeth is Calypso?
Yes, he does.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because he's right, because he's like calling her a goddess and shit.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what that's about.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So
Very important.
He was tricked into thinking she was Calypso, and that's why he was enamored with her.
I don't even know if he was tricked. I think he was just maybe that one.
Very important. Safang is fucking stupid.
Yeah, that's true.
And he believes this all the way through, and he dies for this, by the way, also.
He goes out like a jackass.
Yeah, complete fucking idiot.
How does he die again? This movie's so convoluted.
He dies the same way that fucking Bane dies in Dark Knight Rises. There's a side explosion, and he's accidentally killed.
Although before he dies, he eats a bay leaf. Did anyone see that?
It's pretty disgusting.
It was a weird little detail. It's like, did he just eat a bay leaf? Oh, now he's dead.
She's like, that's actually just for flavor. Oh, no, you shouldn't.
When you're done cooking your Safang, remove the bay leaf before serving.
Oh, yes, that's that rare heroin leaf that we've always heard of. He's chewing it. Oh, good.
You didn't remove the bay leaf before serving, and now Safang is eating it.
Damn, this
Season
Safang
10.
is raw. It's bloody raw.
God.
Tonight in your baskets, you've got Kraken, bay leaves,
and a bag of Doritos. Ted Allen.
Okay, I'm preparing a Singaporean Safang real quick.
So he dies, but before he does, he makes her the captain of his ship.
Yes,
because he does have a number two. This other guy who like follows the other people around. He's in a lot of scenes. He doesn't come to much because he's just whatever. But he's got to be pissed, right? Like you put in 20 years on this ship.
Yep.
Yeah.
This dude, if it weren't for all the rest of the wild adventures that they have to have here, this dude would be composing his resignation scroll. Because he got passed over for that promotion, dude. He's fucking furious. He's done. He's put in his time.
So now she qualifies as a pirate lord, and she can enter the pirate senate or congress or whatever that we are getting to at Shipwreck Cove. Is the next destination?
Get to Shipwreck Cove. Yeah. She's gonna go in his place to Shipwreck Cove.
It's both a place where pirates convene and an adult entertainment resort. You can go with your partner.
Yeah.
You go to Shipwreck
Cove.
Dude,
no kids allowed at the Shipwreck Cove resort, man. 23 plus.
You have to ride the tram past Epcot Center to get there.
It reminded me of Ready Player One with the stacks, because it's all these old ships that have been shipwrecked and stacked up into the sky.
It's a pretty cool visual, despite it's like, how the fuck did they do that?
Yes.
It's cool. They've made like a mountain city out of ships, which is pretty badass. But they don't get there just yet, right? I mean, not that it matters.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we've already now established that there's going to be a World War pirate thing happening where it's like all these pirates are going to unite to fight Lord Beckett and the East India Trading Company, and they are on the losing side, and they go to Shipwreck Cove to try to convince the pirate lords to throw into this conflict and fight the East Indian Trading Company.
Right. And we do have a gag here where they're approaching Shipwreck Cove. And fucking Geoffrey Rush as Barbossa has some line about like, "Yar, the whole pirate family's here. Haven't had a gathering like this in our lifetime," or whatever. And Jack Sparrow just goes, "And I owe all of them money."
Yeah.
I mean, the thing, Jack Sparrow could be a fun and interesting character, but making him like at odds with literally everyone he's ever come across, but it's just too much. It's too much mythos. It's too much.
He's too much of a stinker.
Yeah,
Yes.
That's the problem. Is he's a stinker.
Yeah, the pirate community does not need a Woody Woodpecker-esque figure.
Right. It's
Yes,
like they made a
that's a
gremlin
problem.
a pirate.
Yeah.
You fed me after midnight, love, savvy. I got wet, savvy. But so this is where they convene the fucking 9 pieces of 8 garbage, and all these pirates are throwing in.
What they're trying to do is
Yes.
not only join up together, but also release Calypso from her earthly bounds.
Yes.
Because that's like, oh, we need to like make a deal. You know, he's got Davy Jones in his pocket. We need Calypso in ours. Kind of.
That's like the biggest magic card they can play right now.
Got
Legendary
it.
creature.
Yeah.
Tap a few C's.
But yeah, so that's, I guess, the discussion on top of like, are we going to go to war? Is because Geoffrey Rush is like, I have the ultimate weapon, by the way. We have to free Calypso from her human form, and then she can fight for us. And everybody's like, yeah, but she hates us. And before we bound her inside a human body, she was always trying to kill us. So we don't really believe that she's going to help us out in this scenario either. And that's like what causes the big stir. And they start talking about this, that, and the other thing. You got to do this. It's in violation of the pirate code. And someone's like, oh yeah, well, let's review the rule book or whatever. And it's we have to fucking talk to the dude who oversees the pirate rule book. And here we go, everybody. It is fucking Keith Richards, just dressed up as this pirate. And it'd be like, this shit is so annoying.
He looks
it's
like fucking dog shit. He looks like
looks-
fucking dog
He
shit.
looks absolutely terrible. No
Dog
doubt
shit
about
the
it.
pirate.
Oh, dude,
Yar,
great
it's
name.
me, dog shit. Arr. Like, you know, in interviews with the first movie, you know, and it was like, oh, Johnny Depp, like, how'd you find Jack Sparrow? And it's like, he talked about, you know, emulating Keith Richards and everything. Like, this just is the ultimate wink casting kind of thing. And it's a really obnoxious cameo, I have to say.
It's the type of cameo that, like, it's beneath the first movie.
Yes.
But now that it's the third movie, we're just going
Right.
to do it
Yes.
for, like,
Yep.
the press of it.
I remember there being like a thing too where when it came out, you know, there was no mention of it, like in the selling of it. It was like, oh, did you hear? Did you hear who the cameo was in the new Pirates movie? Oh, not going to tell you.
Rolling Stone.
Can't get no Jolly Roger.
That's right. We've got Warren Zevon. He's going to be in Pirates of the Caribbean 3.
Better movie, man.
But apparently also Keith Richards was drunk the whole time and like
Yes.
Gore Verbinski had, like,
What did you be?
Yes.
Oh, by the way,
Yeah.
Warren Zevon's last line was, enjoy every Kraken sandwich.
but
What
yeah,
were you
like,
saying,
he's like,
Steve?
when it just he was wasted and like Gore Verbinski had to like prop him up to get him to act, and he's like, "Well, you knew what you were getting when you got me."
Did you catch too that they went real heavy handed with it? It's like there's all those lines about living forever, and it's just
Yeah.
like
Yep.
wink.
Yeah.
It's almost like I've been in a rock band for a very, very, very long time.
And he's playing a guitar. Oh my
Dude,
god.
him playing that guitar, I could not even. I do love the fucking thing though, where some guy's like, "Yeah, well, fuck the pirate code,"
Yeah,
and Keith Richards' entrance is murdering this guy. Kind of funny, I have to say.
and he's like,
bad.
"Oh, how's mom?" And he's got a shrunken head. It's the mother, and yada
Dude,
yada yada.
And again, though, like, and
Disney.
I know it's a cartoon movie and whatever the fuck, but like, if my father was like, "Yeah, your mother's doing just fine. Here's her fucking shrunken head I'm carrying around," I would do more than the Jack Sparrow like shrug about it. Like, well, look at that. My own mother's fucking salted, fucking cured head. Okay.
I do like the opportunity to do the costumes of all these pirates around the world. It's kind of fun. I like the French guy that
The
starts
French
punching
guy's the
people.
best.
No, I like the fat Spanish guy. The fat that guy rules. Him
He's
and his
pretty
crew.
sweet.
I-
The best. Oh, go ahead, Ben.
I'm ashamed to admit that the pirate with the high voice actually got me to laugh out loud.
Nice.
It's gonna
The
happen
best-
eventually.
The best cameo in this scene, though, forget Keith Richards, dude. That fucking dog is still alive.
Yes, I couldn't believe it. I wrote that down.
dog.
I was like, my lord. Now, Ben, you didn't see the stinger scene of the last film, my lord. My lord, we're talking about this again. The dog was going to be like, he was on a cannibal island and declared the god of the cannibals, but the catch-22 there is they eat their god. So you're like, this dog is going to die. But now the dog is shown to be alive and somehow evaded that entire island.
That's a
weird.
I want the
crafty dog.
movie. Do
Yeah,
Milo
exactly.
and Otis set on the high seas.
That's a direct to DVD extra fake bonus film that I would take pleasure in.
I don't know. Milo and Otis set on the high seas seems like it's even going to have a higher dog death count than even Milo and Otis.
But that's
Absolutely.
fine. So it's the dog and the monkey, and we go through like 12 of them through the filming.
That's my question. Does he hold rank? Does the dog hold rank? Is he Captain Huckleberry?
No, I think the
He's
monkey.
absolutely.
I think the monkey,
Okay.
because the monkey's more biologically human, and the monkey can ride the dog. Let's think
Fair.
about that.
Oh, yeah,
point.
that's true.
Okay.
Little
That's
saddle.
true.
Think about a little saddle on a dog.
So they make a bunch of big speeches
Did
about
you
whether
think
or not.
about it?
Yeah, I thought about it.
I'm thinking about it right now.
They make a bunch of big speeches about why or why not, they should go to war. They decide to take a vote. The whole thing was they're talking about like pirate kings and electing a pirate king, and that's why Keith Richards comes out with the fucking pirate guidebook or whatever. So they hold a vote.
It's a pirate Bible.
Yes, yeah, totally. The Bible.
It's a pirate Bible written by Keith Richards' character saying, "If I did it," about killing Jack Sparrow's mother.
OJ, you need it on the high seas.
Dude, that's what that dude should be banished to the high seas. For
That
sure.
would be pretty cool.
OJ would make a pretty good pirate, I think.
Mhm.
He's done a good job so far.
He
He
doesn't
knows
mind
his way around a
spilling blood.
cutlass.
Dude. Oh, red glove, yar.
Yeah, pirate red glove. I love it.
So then they hold this vote, and the whole thing is like, oh, it's pointless to vote for a pirate king because every time we do it, every pirate votes for themselves. And in this instance, Jack Sparrow also throws in a vote for Elizabeth Swann. She becomes king of the pirates. They then look to her. They decide they're all going to abide by the rules.
By
She
the way,
says, yeah.
Thank God that we finally get to a point where two people are like, hey, we have common interests. Maybe this adventure should be a cooperative thing.
So they decide, all right, we're going to go to war. So when they get out there on the high seas, they immediately encounter this fucking massive fleet of the East India Trading Company. And when that happens, I think it's Johnny Depp is like, oh, hey, how about a parlay? Haven't done that in a couple movies. And they
Dumbest
cut to like
shit in the world. This fucking shit. My lord.
This like strip of sand, and it's like the two parties walking together. Did you guys notice the fucking fart rock coming out of this score?
No.
Oh yes, dude.
There's something else I need
chunky
to talk about.
It's awful. What were you saying about that though, Eric?
Davy Jones,
knew
the
you
whole
knew it.
lore is he can't set foot on land and like once every 10 years. They have the motherfucker fucking standing in a bucket of water. He's standing in water.
Oh
Yeah,
my
in a
God, I
bucket.
didn't even notice that.
He's on land, but they're like, oh, this doesn't make sense for our fucking story, but the script doesn't fucking matter, does it? They just want to see fucking ships explode. So Davy Jones, we're not going to rewrite this. We're not going to make him like in a lagoon, like a creature of Black Lagoon, like in the water, head sticking out during this meeting. He's going to be standing in a fucking bucket of water. A fucking bucket of water. The most insulting thing I've ever seen.
I got to go back and watch that, dude. I did not even notice him
He's
standing
standing in
there.
a bucket of water.
It's only to fucking stick it in the whatever wizard's eye that cursed him. He's just like, dude, A, I'm not ferrying people to the dead. B, yeah, make me into a squid, but I'm on fucking land and it hasn't even been 10 years, baby.
And at least build him like a dunk tank or something like that.
Yes,
Totally.
Yeah.
And also, it just undermines the previous movies of his, oh, I can't go on land. I'm crying about it.
Exactly. And just to have
Oh,
this bad
man.
scene wherein like it's the bad guys versus the good guys, and they're making all sorts of deals. Wherein we should say Will is now with the bad guys because
Yes.
he's made a deal to
He's made a
be-
deal with Lord Beckett to,
And
what was
the
this
worst-
again?
he makes a deal with Lord Beckett to deliver them to. He knows how to get a shipwreck cove or whatever, and to do that, he's going to be like, okay, and then I'll, blah blah blah. I'm a bad guy now. He's doing some of the worst acting. There's a tea scene with Beckett, Davy Jones, and Will Turner, wherein
this is terrible.
It's supposed to be like contrite, like, oh well, I think I've got the upper hand now, and it's still just Orlando Bloom being like, well, it's pretty bad that I've got the upper hand, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like,
is that lunch?
He is a big zero. Like,
He's such a zero.
It's really bad, man.
The monkey outacts him in this movie.
Absolutely.
Seriously.
So the decision they reach is like, okay, Beckett and Davy Jones are gonna swap Will for Jack Sparrow.
Sure. Hey, sure, why not?
Hey, you know what, man? Let's get another person on a different fucking boat than they were on 2 minutes ago.
But it's important to note that Jack does not want to release Calypso from her bonds, but on his way out, Barbossa steals his missing 9 pieces of 8, the last piece that he needed to actually release her from her bonds.
Right. And the thing about this 9 pieces of 8 shit that's so lazy, and it's another thing that, like, I think it's Gibbs tries to explain, and
as a joke.
It's rushed and it makes no fucking sense. But the idea is like the mystical, like 9 pieces of 8 is just like literally whatever that participating pirate has on their person, because the like Jack's 9 pieces of 8 thing that Barbossa swipes is just he gets one of his little like bead hair things cut off, and the monkey grabs it, and Barbossa's like, all right, that's the piece from Jack now.
The whole, like, Gibbs explains, like, oh, everyone was hard up when we did this, so it's all just whatever we had laying around.
Yes. Yeah.
And he even makes a joke where it's like, well, we call it the 9 pieces of 8 because we don't want to call it whatever we had lying around. Also, why do you even care? Can we just get to the next scene? Like, it's just like, if I don't care, then you don't care, I guess.
This is all bullshit lore anyways.
Thank God I have 9 dirt chips ready to go.
He might as well turn to the camera and be like, don't you want to go get some more popcorn for the rest of the movie?
Could someone, I hate to do this, could somebody wake up Keira Knightley? Her big scene is coming really soon. I would hate for her to miss it.
Yar, take a look at the level of Butterfinger minis you have in your box. May need to go get a second box before the third act gets underway.
I have 7 Skittles here. Could you give me 2 more in my hand so I could start the magical
If you hate swirlies, now is a good time to go to the bathroom. If you love swirlies, please stay in ye seats.
Ye seats.
So they there is a scene between. I actually kind of like, because you get to see regular Bill Nighy with these sick white guy dreads.
Yeah.
Between Calypso and Bill Nighy.
I was wondering, like, is that actually him? Maybe because we're now in 2020 and I can't remember him looking this young, but maybe it's the beard working for him.
Beard looks like that.
It's funny that you asked that, Eric. You know who that actually is?
Tell me.
Jason Patrick. Gore Verbinski likes to give him a little money. I'm kidding.
I was so excited, Chris. I was so excited.
You should have seen the look on Eric's face.
Yeah, this is one of the rare episodes we're recording with Zoom as well. So we're seeing each other for the first time since, well, not
last time.
Yeah.
But it's a nice scene where they discuss basically she ghosted him on one of his idea was, I'm going to do this job every 10 years. I'm going to come. You're going to be at that restaurant in The Dark Knight Rises, right? And she's like, oh, absolutely. I'll always be there.
Well, that's the thing, dude. They basically did the plot of like An Affair to Remember, or, remade as Sleepless in Seattle, or, the plot of Before Sunrise, right? It's like, all right, we promise each other that in 10 years' time, we're going to meet at this place in Vienna. Don't worry about it. You're definitely going to be there, and I'm going to be there. We're going to rekindle this one magic night we had walking around and talking in the streets of Vienna.
You must remember this. A pig is still a pig. A hog is still a hog.
But she fucking left him, right?
She left him, and that made him stop doing his duties, and that led to all sorts of bad stuff. So now it's time to release Calypso from her bonds. This is when we get a giant woman. Oh my god!
She becomes like 50 feet high, and then she turns into a bunch of crabs. Which
And
is
that's
what,
it.
Yeah, those crabs.
That's a wrap on that
what
character, everybody.
Ben alluded to the crabs earlier. Maybe there's a connection there between Purgatory and Calypso, or not.
A delicious connection between the earlier scene in the movie. Perfect sense, the illusion there. Oh, it's the symbolism. My goodness.
Hi, Hollis here from Big Women Daily. This is maybe
Wow, a daily publication, by the
this
way.
is
it, dude. You
maybe
need it.
a C+ at maximum, ladies and gentlemen. On the Hollis scale, maybe we're talking a C+.
I mean,
here.
this reporter that just hacked into this Zoom is right, okay? Because it's brief. We only see a brief moment of a giant woman. It would be great if this giant woman maybe kicked a ship or something.
Yeah,
She
let's snap some
crushes
masts
a
or something.
man.
Like,
Yeah.
What if she crushed a man?
That's a good point, Steve. There is
Step
nary
on
a
me.
pirate getting squished.
Yeah.
There's
Step on
definitely
me.
not.
Or like she eats him or something.
This is
Get some
this is
gore
what
in here.
This is what I just couldn't wrap my head around. This was a movie that cost like $300 million to make, and there's no more Kraken in it. You get a giant woman, but she doesn't do anything. She just turns
Yeah.
into crabs. Like,
Now the thing, it's like, and what's crazy too is like you see these crabs or a variation of those crabs, that moved the Black
Mhm.
Pearl earlier in
Yeah.
the film. So you'd expect then that those same crabs would band together and maybe take down a ship or do
Sure.
something. They just scuttle off into the water, and then I guess later she's blamed for making that fucking cyclone
Maelstrom,
happen.
Yeah.
There is a joke of like, oh, Calypso gave me crabs, because one pirate like takes a crab out from his trousers.
Oh,
from his fucking
man.
ding
get out of
dong.
here. That didn't happen.
It did happen. Don't tell me it didn't
Shout
happen.
out-
I saw it happen.
Oh
shout
my
out to all the parents in 2007 that had to explain that joke to their kids
Yeah.
or try to fake an explanation to their kids.
They probably
Mommy, I
didn't.
want to get crabs.
No, you do not. You wrap it up.
I want
Wrap
crabs
it
now.
up, little kid.
Listen, abstinence only doesn't work. Tell your little. No, never mind.
Tell your
That's a
6-year-old
Disney
about
movie.
crabs.
Yeah.
We did
Well-
not talk about the way in which she's made large, by the way that she's freed. And this is the start, though, of every tertiary character has to have their
Yes.
moment of heroism, and this is Mackenzie Crook, like telling is it Jack Sparrow or Barbossa? They have to like read an incantation while all of the little 9 pieces of 8 are on fire or whatever in a bowl. And he says the line, "I release you from your human bonds," and nothing happens. And this is Mackenzie Crook steps up and he's like, "No, you gotta say it right." And they mentioned something about like you have to say it seductively. So here's this dude like
Yes.
whispering in Naomie Harris's ear, and like that does the fucking trick. And it's like that guy's moment to shine, man. You've been waiting 3 movies. You love this character so much. Here he is saving the day.
It's
Fucking
something.
dumb. It is fucking dumb, is what it is.
So she starts a maelstrom. By the way, all the pirates band together. You don't see it's one of those things where it's like, and it's kind of thankful, but we also set this thing up like if we have hundreds of ships, there should be like a lot of ships fighting each other.
Yep.
It's
Yeah.
really just these 2 ships flushed around a toilet that
And
Naomie
everybody else
Harris
is
carries.
hanging back.
Yes, exactly.
Right. And
On
now-
both sides, on the East India Trading Company side and on the pirate side.
But is it the East? It's the Flying Dutchman and the Black Pearl, right?
Yes,
Am I
but the
wrong?
Flying Dutchman stands in for the East India Trading Company because they're
Oh,
part of it.
right.
Yeah.
Why, I mean, they don't even get Griffin Wingsworth in. Like, why wouldn't you call him in to help out in this situation?
Dude, you gotta dial 1-900 Wingsworth, dude.
And wait, so who would be the in charge of the land deaths? Like Steve Buscemi?
Yeah, that works.
Yeah, that's it. So yeah, get Steve Buscemi on this too.
There's something that happens. Like Jack Sparrow's like on the East Indian boat at some point around here,
Sure.
Yeah.
and we see like he's circle talking the same guy. Oh, because he's stealing Davy Jones's heart
Yes.
again.
Yep.
Mhm.
It's the return of the 2 know-it-all
Yes.
guys.
Exactly, and it's
From
just
the
like
first movie.
at first I was really repulsed by this. I was like, I hate these guys. Why they're doing? I'm like, oh right, because there's less people in the world back then. This just points to a less population on Earth.
I guess so.
But it also points to we're wrapping up this trilogy right now. We got to bring back these fucking fan favorites, dude. And by the end of this movie, when the credits are rolling, these two guys have been pretending to be pirates.
Good for them.
It is fucking terrible. So we're not going to go through this entire thing, but I did want to point out that at the start of the toilet flush, we are still talking about like 49 minutes left in this movie.
Right.
Absolutely.
And the toilet flush was Calypso's doing, I guess.
Yeah.
Yes, this
Yeah,
maelstrom is blamed on her.
She flushed the sea because she was mad.
Yeah.
And the toilet, she just must have kept her flipper or whatever on the handle because that thing just kept going.
Yeah, and someone was taking a shower. It made it really hot for them, too.
We also have to watch the two know-it-alls that we just talked about. They have to survive the toilet flush. We watched them survive the toilet flush by swinging from one ship to the other.
Imagine how cool this movie would be if a giant plunger came down.
Yeah. Oh, shit, dude. Then it's like a Monty Python sketch.
Wait,
and we
Chris,
pan
were
back,
those...
and we pan back and it's the Mario Brothers, dude.
Chris, were those ships? They look like little pieces of crap from like Wide Shots.
That's how they did. Yeah. Like they ran out of money, Ben, and they're like, "All right, look, looks so much like a toilet anyway. Someone just take a shit and we'll flush it, just for some of the wide shots, not all of them."
We got to go film Gore Verbinski's toilet.
We have a world-renowned shit artist here, and he's going to mold your shit into ships.
Oh, God.
So, we're all fighting each other. We're fucking swashbuckling finally in this goddamn movie.
Absolutely. This is around where, Eric, you brought this up. It's Beckett's like number 2 guy.
Yeah.
He's the dude that gets all the fucking, he gets like squid choked by Davy Jones right here, almost for no other reason than this is the third movie and they wanted to kill this guy.
I mean, this guy was like a bad character from the start. He was an adversary to not only Elizabeth Swann, but the governor. So it's like you've been waiting for him to get his comeuppance, and I just didn't expect him to be face fucked by Davy Jones.
He got his comeuppance, all right.
I'm going to finish inside you, lad.
We should say whatever. Jack Davenport also gets murdered by
whatever.
Right,
yes.
It just sort of happens kind of
unceremoniously, to the point of why the fuck bother bringing this character back every movie?
This is what happens when fucking like agents and whoever and managers and film companies are striking these fucking like contracts with actors and shit, where it's like, sure, Jack Davenport, you're in this first movie as like the main villain or whatever. And we're also going to put in your contract that you have to appear in 2 sequels. And like when you get to the third movie and you've done that with the contracts for most of the people from the first movie, this is the problem. This is why you're just like killing people. Like it's just like fat on the cut of meat, you know? And it's like, all right, Jack Davenport, you were the villain in the first movie. Now you're just going to be unceremoniously murdered by Stellan Skarsgård.
Jonathan Pryce is going to die off screen. The Kraken, whose agent must have been fucking furious. Like, what? He doesn't get a death scene? Excuse me?
People are mocking my client's corpse after his off-screen death?
How is he going to get Spider-Man 4 at this rate?
You've got 2 characters talking about turning him into sandwiches, man. Where's his back end is what I want to know.
I was
you gotta butter that bread.
There you go. I was kicking myself in my own back end right here because in this big like fucking fight scene, which is like the final big battle of the movie, and this is where Davy Jones is on top of the mast with Jack and they're having the big fight. Down on the deck of the ship, Elizabeth and Will start screaming at Geoffrey Rush to marry them. And we're doing that whole thing?
Yeah.
That's supposed to happen at the beginning of the second movie, and it doesn't.
Okay.
It's delayed.
I was just going to say, where the fuck did this come from?
The second movie, Ben, opens with, like, it's going to be their wedding day, and then, like,
Okay.
Beckett and all of the East India dudes and the fucking like British Navy roll in and they're like, you're all pirates and you're all sentenced to death. And like, that's the start of the second movie. So they've been trying to get married for some time. And again, though, this is just like, oh, fuck, this is the last movie we have with these guys under contract. We got to fucking see these kids married off or whatever. And they're doing this like, we're fighting and saying the wedding vows.
It stinks. And then we're cutting back and forth between everything else. And meanwhile, Davy Jones and Jack Sparrow are fighting on the mast way up there. And by the time we cut back to them, it's like 30 fucking minutes later. And I'm like, really?
And Barbossa's feeding fucking dead bodies to Calypso this whole time. He's got like fucking 20 guys get stabbed while he's fumbling through a marriage proposal.
I inadvertently paused it, like kind of right when, it's like, sword fight on the mast. It seems like we're, 10 minutes from the end. Like this is the climax. And I paused it and then I could see on the little time code, like 50 minutes left. Like, I audibly balked.
There's so much.
It's shocking when that happens, man. It's absolutely shocking.
And also, this is where you should kill Jack Davenport and even kill, Jonathan Pryce. It would be much... It would make these sword fights have something like if Jonathan Pryce is sword fighting some guy and he gets killed, it's like, holy shit. Jack Davenport, same deal, holy shit. Yep. As opposed to everyone just like, clang, 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 let's have fun, blah, blah, blah. Like, no one dies in midst of sword fight. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
no.
No
these
one
sword fights
dies.
have nothing. No one. Well, here comes Will. They get married. He jumps onto the Flying Dutchman to try and save his daddy. And at this point... he gets overtaken and fucking Squidman kills him with his own sword, by the way, from the first movie. Blah, blah, blah. Came through.
Oh, I did not realize it was the same sword.
It doesn't matter. Guess what? It doesn't matter.
It does not matter.
You mean a refreshing sword death? I mean, finally, at least something.
Yes, seriously. Somebody got stabbed in the heart.
But like at the same time, Eric, yes, in a movie with a body count that rivals Saving Private Ryan, no one dies in this movie.
Exactly.
That's true.
Which
Everyone
is why
dies at the start, but no one dies going forward.
Yeah.
No one where the death matters.
Exactly.
Like
and
you
in
can
fact,
kill all these like anonymous pirate people and it's fine. Nobody gives a shit.
That's one dies. People come back from death.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Anyone whose death would actually have some sort of weight or meaning comes back from the dead. I guess maybe except Jonathan Pryce.
Does Norrington come back at any point in the next two?
Oh, stay tuned for next week.
Know.
Next week, folks. Next week, Stranger Tides.
Doubt it. I doubt it, Cabin, only because I was reading the plot summary of the fourth one, and it sounds like a straight up like we are veering away from this original trilogy as much as possible, except for one character who will be very important in the fourth movie.
But what if like fucking
Keith Richards?
What if Mackenzie Crook got fucking axed by somebody? You know what I mean?
Those
that would be
dudes
something.
are expendable. The fucking know-it-all soldiers are totally expendable. Fucking kill those dudes. But like,
yes, and then you
kill
could actually,
Gibbs.
It would either way, Gibbs or one of those guys would add a heart to the movie, like, oh, like your sacrifice won't go in vain, love. Like,
exactly.
thank you for your service, you know.
But yeah, Orlando Bloom gets stabbed in the heart, and then there's because he keeps saying like whoever stabs
my favorite part of the movie,
whoever stabs Davy Jones in the heart, becomes the immortal captain, and I guess Johnny Depp wants to do this, right? Johnny, that's his like plan. Is like,
oh my god,
I want to be immortal.
There was a moment of angel and devil on his shoulder debating it. We get little mini.
Oh god,
they crawl out of his. They crawl out of his dreadlocks. They might as well crawl out of his fucking ass because that's where this belongs.
Yeah, that whole he's in a jail cell on Davy Jones's ship. And I think this is where he's in the brig. He does have a moment of like talking to himself again. This is where one of the fucking multiplicity clones is like him as a fucking crickety barnacle pirate. And he rips his fucking brain out of his own skull and licks it. So there's that.
He
That's
likes licking things in this movie.
Definitely does. Definitely
Brains, rocks, God knows what else.
Yeah,
But the whole thing, Steve, that I was going to say about him wanting the job is he in this movie kind of has the mentality, and I think, Ben, I don't know what your track record is with this thing that I'm about to mention, but I know the other two don't care. He's kind of like when Buffy comes back from the dead.
Yeah.
Steve, and she's like, I was fucking happy you're dead at peace and you brought me back. His mentality is kind of the same as Buffy, where he's like, listen, I was going crazy like as a dead person in purgatory, but like kind of prefer that to being on this fucking pirate adventure with you. I wish I was dead forever.
Well, I wished I was dead.
Watching the movie?
Yeah, absolutely.
Or just in 2020.
No, ditto. Yeah, I think that's sort of what his thing is. It's like, it's not really super explored, but it's like, oh, either he'd rather be dead or he'd rather live forever in some sort of fashion to stay away from Davy Jones's locker.
I guess is the idea. Like, yeah, if you're working for the bad guys, you're not going to be fucking killed by the bad guys. I guess.
But he's about to do it, and then he realizes, oh, my buddy Will is actually dead. I don't like that. So then he makes Will do it. So then
they take his they put the knife, or it's the piece of the broken sword.
Yes.
In his fucking dead hand, and it's like fucking Weekend at Bernie's kind of a thing.
Was that his last will and testament?
Oh boy, dude.
But then
you're gonna walk the plank after that joke.
I wish.
That joke belongs on the poop deck.
Well, why don't you swab it, Master Worcester?
His dad has to cut his own heart out. Like, they all like kind of rise up like very zombie-esque, like part of the ship, part of the crew, part of the ship.
That's kind of a cool, like, eerie mantra that they have.
That lobster guy, could you crack through the ribs for me? Like, big chunks like that.
We did not mention him, but there's a dude with an eel head, and it rules.
Eel head.
It does.
Eel head is awesome because it gives Geoffrey Rush like the scare of his life.
Yeah, and then he cuts the eel head off, and it's like, great. Oh, thank God.
Yeah, no, that wasn't too shabby. I will say my favorite part of this whole Will Turner getting murdered thing is when Davy Jones fucking lays the death blow, Stellan Skarsgård loses his fucking mind and starts beating the shit out of Davy Jones here. It's kind of awesome, man. It's like a little fucking monster on monster fight, and like very rarely in the fight does Davy Jones have the upper hand. He gets the shit beat out of him by Bootstrap Bill Turner. But yeah, the heart is stabbed, so Davy Jones eats shit. That's the end of this dude. He falls into the fucking toilet.
The toilet sort of after Davy Jones goes in, I think the toilet sort of settles itself. The seas settle.
And it's a very confusing image. I had to like rewind it because like the Dutchman like goes down into the water and they kind of take the black pearl and they're like, all right, come on, baby, make it over this hill.
Yeah.
And then it all just kind of like crests, like the toilet's just running.
Yeah, the last wad went through. It went all the way through, and then it was done.
Right. And after that wad went through, the Black Pearl is now, still 100,000 fucking East India Trading Company ships. But, the Dutchman returns.
Oh, yeah.
3.5 seconds later. So if you even like if you had any stake in, oh shit, they killed Orlando Bloom in this movie, don't worry, he's back.
Have the Black Pearl engage these ships and then it come back to save the day a little later.
Exactly. No. Like it looks like they're really down for the count after fighting in some capacity, and then the Dutchman flies out and saves the day. Instead, like the Dutchman flies out, the two of them like park the boats with the fucking Beckett ship in the middle and just light this dude up. They light this fucking ship up.
This is where we get the Lord Beckett walking around the ship in slow motion while it's exploding around him, which I thought was
the Comedy
sweet.
Central roast.
Yes, this is Wednesday at 10:30, the roast of Davy Jones.
It's also kind of like a Savage Garden music video.
Yeah, a Savvy Garden.
Yeah, Savvy Garden.
Well, everything's turning to splinters all around him, and it's like, and there's a moment where like his number one or number two is like, oh, what are your orders, master? And he's like, it was just supposed to be business. Oh, I didn't understand.
Right,
I would get crikey, what is my character?
I mean, when it turned into slow motion, exactly like, Are we in a music video? Is Keith gonna come out like rock?
He's like walking through the hull of the ship, destroying it. Like Beckett's big line, by the way, like this is the one line of Beckett in the movie. Pretty much is like, "Oh, he expects us to keep our agreement. Sorry, Jack, it was just business."
Yeah, right. That's the start of what becomes his like final words or whatever.
Exactly.
Why wasn't this guy playing a harpsichord while his ship went down? That's what I want to know.
Yeah,
that's a big question, Ben. I don't know the answer to it, but it's unfortunate.
Or even like give me like a fucking piece of shrapnel goes through him and he gets like impaled. He's killed Jonathan Pryce and the Kraken, for Christ's sake, my two favorite characters.
He deserves a bigger death. Yeah.
Yes, because you don't even see him. I mean, you know he dies, or theoretically he dies.
The boat super explodes. I mean,
fire is around him, and then you see the boat explode. Yeah. So presumably he is perished.
I mean, give us a T2 like flesh flying off the body.
You mean Lord Beckett, like with a thumbs up, sinking into the ocean?
Yeah, I'm not into like. I like the fact that we have killed Davy Jones, but have Davy Jones come back and eat him total. Like, I want Davy Jones to eat
body.
all of Beckett. Yeah,
or like a Kraken baby starts to eat.
I like that.
Maybe a Kraken. Like. Okay, how about this? Like, Davy Jones fucking comes up to Beckett and like gives him a fucking Godfather 2 kiss, right? And Beckett's like, "What's that about?" And then like later in the movie, long after Davy Jones has died, Beckett's like, "Oh, indigestion, I see." And his fucking chest explodes and it's like baby Kraken comes out of it.
We like chest explosions.
I like any of these,
dude.
a Godfather kiss with like tentacles is pretty.
Yep.
Oh, there's some slash fiction right there.
I was gonna say, we're not doing it again. I will not do it again.
We unite two of the greatest comedy duos of all time: the idiot pirates and the know-it-all soldiers pretending to be pirates. Now they're a big fucking sketch comedy team.
Love it.
Can't wait for their fucking Netflix comedy special.
So good.
It's so dumb.
And everyone's kind of saying goodbye to each other, and like Elizabeth is gonna leave because now Will is dead, or Will can't go on land until every 10 years, yada yada.
Right.
And then we flash forward a little bit, and we see Jack Spada on a beach or in Tortuga with Gib, and they're fucking all sorts of ladies. But the Black Pearl is gone, right? That's
Someone has stolen the Black Pearl, and it's the same two prostitutes from the first two movies, by the way, because we have to get the gag of him getting slapped in the face again. That all happens.
I think there was a line in this somewhere. It might have been Gib instead. Why the rum is gone. So that happened.
Sure.
But also the other thing is right before we see that, because the Tortuga sequence is the last sequence of the movie. Right before that is pirate fucking. Because I guess, Elizabeth is a retired pirate at this point, but like he's like, okay, cool. Like my 10 years on the sea starts right after the fuck fest I'm about to have. And like the two of them find some like unmarked island. They go to town on each other.
Clearly.
This is what I was talking about with the fucking cunnilingus. Like there is a scene where her dress or like skirt or whatever is like all the way up. You can see all of her leg, and he's like kissing her knee and he's moving forward, and it cuts to her face and like her eyes kind of close, and then like he stops.
She pulls her leg out of a big old pirate boot, and that worked for a lot of people.
Absolutely. And again, I've got kids here. Mommy, why was he shoving his face between her legs?
He went for that knee. He was all about that knee.
I just could not believe it. And so, then it's like their whole thing. She watches him sail off. She sees the green blip on the horizon.
Is it the right move to be like, listen, sweetheart, it's not going to work out for you and me. I'm going to turn into a squid eventually. You need to move on with your life. Like, this is a fun fuck.
That would make sense.
That's a noble thing to do, I think.
But it doesn't happen. Quick, we get Barbarossa on the Black Pearl. He had stolen it, and he pulls out the map, and it's like, oh no, part of it's cut out. Johnny Depp's in a little dinghy going to find the Fountain of Youth on his own.
Right. You know what, dude? Let's not even worry about immortality anymore. Like we've learned that lesson a lot. It's
We've
not a good
learned
idea.
It sucks. Fuck it.
Yeah.
We've been dealing with immortality since the first movie. That was Barbossa and his crew were cursed to be the skeleton pirates for eternity.
Let's just get some cash and get some fucking going.
No. How else are we supposed to establish finality other than starting another adventure?
The thing that's bogus about that, though, Cabin, is we see Jack Sparrow in this little dinghy going after the Fountain of Youth, and he's by himself.
Yeah.
What did he do? Fucking live Gibbs on the dock there?
Yeah, I guess so.
You
and
leave-
the monkey? Is the monkey? I forget. Did he keep
No,
the monkey?
The monkey is with Barbossa.
Oh.
The monkey also has a moment of heroism when, in the final battle, not to drag this out too much longer, but the two doofus pirates launch the monkey out of a cannon.
I do remember that.
Oh,
And
that
then
was
because he's immortal, and
yes, he is.
and he blasts over to the other ship and he starts fucking ripping some dude's face off.
I bet you he's probably one of the pirate lords now. They probably had somebody else fell out.
But so Barbossa thinks he's going after the Fountain of Youth. Jack has the map to the Fountain of Youth. Yo ho,
Yes.
motherfuckers! Let's roll these credits.
Yo ho, well, no, drink up me hearties, yo ho. Jack says the movie ends. Credit sequence, boom, stinger sequence 10 years later, which I'm very excited. Soon enough, folks, on this feed, we're going to get to the latest Pirates of the Caribbean movie from 2017.
Uh-huh.
Yes,
And we'll see if it addresses any of this 10 years later nonsense.
yeah,
Mhm.
totally. But so we see 10 years later, it's Elizabeth and what appears to be a 10-year-old boy walking out onto the same sort of field area, and sure enough, there's the ship comes out of the water.
And his bastard son.
Yeah, dude, and like there's Orlando Bloom, and you can tell, by the way, Orlando Bloom is getting the job done, helping escort souls to the other side, because he still looks the same. There's not a barnacle on that beautiful face.
He's got a scar on his chest.
Yep,
And
yep.
It's a
that's
cool
it.
looking scar. I'll give it that. It's a
Cool looking scar. He's like, oh, this scar right here. You want to know how I got this scar? It was from when my father cut my heart out of my dead body. If that is not a pickup line, I don't know what is.
Well, that's the thing is, if you are so fucking hung up on your dad so much, you're cursed to spend eternity with him. What a fucking nightmare that is.
You know, if you're just nice to Wingsworth, he gives you shit all the time. I guess the other guy was just being a dick to him, also fucking doing nothing at his job.
Yeah, I
It
think
makes
you're
no
right.
sense to me.
I think you're right, Chris.
Now, just out of confusion, because I've been confused this entire time.
Uh-huh.
Was it his father that cut his heart out, or was it was Davy Jones, right?
Well, Davy Jones stabbed him, but then at the end, to make it work, he has to get his hearts ripped out by somebody else.
His
Then the
daddy
heart-
definitely helped. Man.
And Dad helped that process out.
Sure.
Dad was doing the cutting, and then you have to put the heart in the
Right.
dead man's chest.
Oh, speaking
Right.
of which, in the slash fiction I read earlier, the father helps strap Will up to be defiled by Davy Jones.
Oh, that's
So
lovely.
The
Yes.
slash fiction seems pretty canonical.
This is also what happens when the eldest Skarsgård dies. The younger
course.
Skarsgårds change out their hearts, and they put it in a big box.
but
It's a
that is
Swedish tradition.
It is, as it is.
Yeah.
that is blissfully the end of this movie, though. Stinger scene and all. I feel like this is a fool's question. Would anybody recommend this movie? Starting with Steve Zadak.
No. I honestly, like, literally was dreading this entire. I'm actually feel a little bit free because I never have to see this movie again.
Yep.
And the next two movies are new movies to me at the very least. I don't have to like
Yeah.
rewatch anything.
Yep.
I felt very much like when we're starting in the gallows, it felt very appropriate for me, like just the death march. So I feel very free now. You're free, Genie. Fuck this movie. Nothing should be this long. It's so convoluted. It's not fun. It's not satisfying for this series. It just sucks.
Totally. Chris Cabin.
I'm glad that Steve made like the positive points about like it is over. That is nice to remember. This is such a numbing and terrible experience. Like I fucking hate this movie so fucking much. And like it like even at that length, fucking 2 hours and goddamn what was it, 48 minutes?
49, yeah.
49, yeah.
49 goddamn minutes. And it's not even like surprising. None of it.
Yes.
And the nothing is nothing. It's absolute nothingness. And I fucking hate it. And yeah, it's done with. Never again.
Eric Siska.
First of all, it's okay to like a movie. I want to
Sure.
get that out of the way. I've been saying it for every single episode of this.
No, you got to. You have to do it.
Because a lot of people love it, and it's totally fine if you like it. I personally don't. I wouldn't recommend this. Actually, going through this series is making me like the first movie more somehow, because it was like,
Agreed.
yeah, because it's like at least that was like controlled in such a way. I do like some of the visuals in this movie, and some of it reminded me of this is very a stoner in the 1970s would pick up on this reference. Actually, Chris Walton, who did some of our posters, turned me on to this book series, Michael Moorcock's Elric series, and he's got a book called The Sailor on the Seas of Fate, and some of the trippy shit reminded me of the stuff in this like 1970s fantasy novel, which was kind of cool. So I'd say read that or watch the first movie again.
There you go. Ben Worcester, our esteemed guest for this week.
Why, ye mutinous dogs, I give you another fine pirate movie and you reject it. Oh, avast.
Oh, Ben had his own agenda this whole time.
Oh, he double-crossed us.
He was just lying about being a double.
Savvy.
Have you heard the phrase "dead men record no pods"? Well, we're about to put that. No, I very much, coming into this, having never seen it, kind of knew what I was getting into, and it certainly proved to be that. This is the longest Pirates movie. It's the most bloated. It's the end of this trilogy. It kind of has that whole syndrome that we talked about with trilogies with a corporate mandate that just get too bloated and kind of weighed down. That being said, I think I'm going to go back and watch that first one just to see like how that registers after this experience. I feel like it will feel completely different, and I may even be like, yeah, I could see why I remember liking this. But I think the reason I got out of it after the second one was reinforced by this third one, where it's just like these guys just lost it. Like, and I can't. Ye voyage ahead. I do not envy that. You got two more to go.
There'll be monsters ahead.
Oh,
Totally.
man.
I will say, at least with these other two voyages we have ahead of us, they are indeed noticeably shorter than this movie. This was the one. It was we are over the hump of the longest movie here. I would not recommend this movie. It's a bummer because the more I think on this franchise and what we're doing with it here, like, I like adventure shit. I love the ocean. I love sword fights. Like, all of this shit should be catered to me. But like, it just goes to show, like, corporate bloat with blockbuster movie making is just toxic. And like, it's really sad that a movie that has this much going on with it is so boring and convoluted and just draining, like not fun at all. And I can't imagine, like, I mean, I took a fucking solid nap, like I've been talking about, through this movie in the theaters. But like, for Chris and Steve, who suffered through the whole thing, I mean, that's like with previews and everything, we're talking about like 3 hours and 40 minutes sitting in the fucking theater. Like, it's just so much for so little. It's just a real bummer. But that is Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End. Want to thank Ben Worcester for coming on.
Yeah.
Always happy to have you back on the program, sir.
Oh, it has been an honor and a privilege. But I hope you don't mind if I just mosey on down this plank right now. Because
Ben, before you do that, I understand you're on another podcast.
Now where did ye hear that?
Well, I mean, it's very popular. So why don't you tell the folks at home what it is?
It's very true. At the bottom of the sea, I record a podcast with you, Eric. Fancy that. It's we if you've never heard it before, or if you've never seen it, go back and watch a little early 80s cop show called TJ Hooker. And
Yes.
if that floats your boat, there's a podcast you can listen to alongside that, Hooked on TJ Hooker.
Great show.
You know how you catch fish? That's with a hook.
That's true. That's true. That's tjhookerpodcast.com, or look up Hooked on TJ Hooker wherever you find podcasts.
Mhm.
There you go. Now, of course, Pirate Mania has 2 weeks left in the tank. We're going into next week, Pirates of the Caribbean, on Stranger Tides. And we will be having a guest joining us for that one as well. Steve Sadak.
Jordan Searles, the great writer. She's all over the place. She's on Bitch Magazine and other places. She has
Right.
her
And
own-
she's got a podcast, Bad Romance.
Yes,
Yes.
Bad Romance Pod. She's hilarious. We're really excited to have her on for the first time.
That's right. Yeah, for the first time. Unfortunately, she has to make her show debut talking about such a wretched sequel. But we're very excited to have Jordan. It would have been in studio, but thanks a lot, COVID. Now we'll be hanging out over the internet like we've had here with Ben. So, Ben, thanks a lot again for coming on. We're always happy to have you. Next week, gang, Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides. Second to last of these pirate adventures.
Quick want to mention, if you're sick of that, head on over to patreon.com/wehatemovies and listen to our episode on The Ring, Gore
That's right.
Verbinski's most effective movie, most trim movie.
Yep.
Totally. And a movie that after almost 2 decades still totally holds up.
For sure.
So until next week with Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides, I'm Andrew Jupin.
Steven Sadak.
RX Seasick.
Chris Cabin.
Barnacle Ben Worcester.
Take it
Yes.
easy.
That was a HeadGum podcast.